Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 443, recorded on September 7th, 2023. On tonight's episode, with Patreon producer Jacqueline and Amira, we talk about Charles Martinet's official retirement video, Nintendo's holiday bundles, Justin's time at Nintendo Live 2023, some juicy Switch 2 rumors, and a ton of your questions. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Nintendo Dads. Joining us on episode 443 this week, September the 7th, 2023, is Patreon producer Jacqueline Amira and the full cast of the Dads. I am excited about this episode because we're going to get to talk about Justin's time at PAX and Nintendo Live, as well as tons of other stuff that Tim already introed going into the show. But before we do that, let's go around the horn here. We're going to start with Jacqueline. How are you? Welcome back to the show, by the way.
I am happy to be back with my boys. Big sister is in the building.
So that means we got to behave. All right, guys? Best behavior.
Here we go again. Oh, my God.
I'll think about it.
I'll just turn my camera and microphone off, and y'all can I'll just respond in chat. That's probably best.
We'll just read your responses. So life's been going good for you. You said you've been really busy.
Yeah, emceeing. I got 3 magazine covers. They're actually on the wall right behind me. 2 of them I shot myself. Did a movie. I have a show coming up on Sunday. A lot of stuff going on.
Wow. And juggling it all extremely well. And speaking of juggling, Nintendo Dad's Employee of the Year, 8 years running, juggling everything over there, making us look good, sound good, and be good. Jesse Waldack, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I was, during the pre-show, I was watching the little football game and enjoying the outcome so far. Now I can't see it because of all the podcast windows are up.
Shush.
So it's still in the background. I just don't know what's going on. I think it's still in halftime.
It's halftime.
We'll probably talk more about that.
So what?
Do we have anything riding on this game? Do we have anything riding on this game?
Just
please,
besides bragging rights?
No. Right here, right now. We're putting something up.
Uh-oh.
Right here. Right here, right now. We got to figure it out. We cannot go further in the show.
I think like a pizza bet, right? So whoever's team wins,
I like it.
The other person has to order their favorite pizza and have it shipped to them, like where in the state they live or area.
I like it because really, what is that? You just get Domino's to go deliver, right?
Or is it Detroit style pizza versus barbecue?
Ooh. Okay, so are y'all in on this? Are we okay with this?
I'm good to get some barbecue. That's fine.
As long as it's not coming through the Nintendo Dad's expense report, I don't care because I'm not
here. Yeah, that's right. Can't come out of the funds. So here it is. Whatever team wins, the loser has to send. If Tim's team wins, Jesse sends barbecue. If Jesse's team wins, Tim sends pizza.
We'll figure something out.
You're a genius. Yep. I like this. Now there's investment. There's community investment.
I've got another window open now. I'm watching the score.
Okay. Yes. Because we got to report on this.
I've got it on my phone right now. So
Mikey Dreamer in the chat. I have Lions Chiefs game on the big screen and Nintendo Dad's on my laptop. Win.
No. That needs to be swapped, Mikey Dreamer. That is not cool, dude.
Mikey, this is like Union University back in the day, WWF, WCW, the one that's better goes on the big TV with the sound. That's us. All right. The game goes on the little
go on the big TV
now. All right. Yeah. So podcast goes on the big TV. Speaking of community, though, Tim Off, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's a short work week for me because of not just Labor Day, but I took an extra day off. So I got to play some video games. Yeah. And then of course get to hang out with you guys to end out the week. So it's always awesome. How about you, Marty? How's it going?
No days off over here, buddy. Labor Day was ending our student ministry retreat. So we got home about lunch and I went and took a big fat nap. and it was awesome. And then went out for dinner with the fam and started on school for this week. So yeah, so it's been like tomorrow is my day of not doing anything, but really it's not, because my kids have a job fair and I'm taking them to it in the morning. And that's what happens when you have teenagers, that are getting close to graduating.
Yes.
Got to start like going and like be like, look, guys, in 2 years, whether you want to or not, we're pushing you out of the nest. So
Yes.
you've got to go find something to do with your life. And so here are all these things. Go find an option.
We got something similar coming up for Sam.
Shape up or ship out speech.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. I mean, in fact, my son he has his first job right now, and he's and my daughter she's picking up some babysitting and saving some money that way. So I just told him, I said, look, you're off the payroll. If you want to, sorry, don't have any money. I guess you don't need any more. No, I love my kids. I promise. But last but not least, speaking of payroll here, the businessman himself, Mr. Justin Masson, fresh back from a trip to PAX West and Nintendo Live, which just be honest, can I just level with you? I was really, really, and I texted you about this. I was really insanely jealous of you during this time. It looked like a blast. Looks like y'all had a great time. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I will not lie to you. It was an absolutely amazing. We were down in Seattle for a total of 4 days. I did 2 days of PAX and Nintendo Live. We're going to talk about it later in the show. But yeah, it's sort of been a whirlwind tour. I got back and I was getting content out when I arrived back in Canada. I was on another show last night for some conversations about it as well. Had an article out. So it's sort of been like a really, really long week of content creation, putting it out, making sure everyone knew what was going on and including people in it. But it was an absolute blast. Big thank you again to our community who helped support this, who helped your Patreon dollars, all of you're watching your videos. Those are all funds that come to support us to be able to do it. It was an absolute blast. I'm going to talk about a whole lot more of it later. But just before I go, I want to share one of the things I got there. If you're on the live stream, it's a Mario Wonder elephant keychain. Look at that.
That's really cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So I'm assuming that the three that you got for us are already in a box to be shipped, correct?
Well, I'm not. I will tell you the following. I am not spending $10 of shipping on what appears to be a $1.95 plastic toy. When I see you in person, I will probably give them to you. But by that time, it will be a completely different game that you don't care about, I'm sure.
Right. We'll be on to the next thing. And speaking of on to the next thing, we got a ton of news to talk about tonight, as well as your questions. And getting into Justin's time at PAX. We don't want to not leave time for that. So let's dive into the news.
Let's do it.
And of course, our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/NintendoDads, where for as little as $1 a month, you get to join up with the greatest community on the internet, just like Jacqueline has. And also you get an ad-free version of this podcast just by being a subscriber. So that means if you're on Patreon or you're a Twitch Prime subscriber, yes, you do have an ad-free feed. And if you're not getting that, you need to send Tim a message and we will hook you up. But for $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, hey, we've even got spots right now open for more Patreon producers where you get to be on the show like Jacqueline and just get to come hang out with us. And whatever level you choose to engage at, hear me when I say this. It's absolutely heartfelt. I mean it every time I say it. Thank you from the bottom of our little hearts. We appreciate you guys. Like Justin said, your support of the show helps us do things like send people to PAX or to helps us meet up in New York like we did last year. It helps on gear purchases for the podcast and game expenditures and all kinds of things. So you're actually helping us create more content, even if it's just $1 a month. And so don't ever think it's like, oh, it's just $1. No, it's
all those little $1 add up.
Yeah, I still get blown
Keeps the
away.
lights on.
Yep. I'm still blown away that people, actually want to support us. And so thank you. You can go over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. You can sign up monthly for that $1, $5, $10, or $30 patronage, or you can sign up by the year. And when you do, if you pay up front, we take a month off. That's just our gift to you for going ahead and paying by the year. And so you could change that at any time too, as well. If you've been doing a monthly thing and you want to go yearly, you can do that. No problem. It's all right there. And also now, not just for patrons, we do a Nintendo Dads weekly update every week on the Patreon page, where we talk about what's going to be on the show, what games to look out for that are coming out. We even link to Deku deals for that. Tim started that. It's a great thing to do over there, but that's now public for everyone. So even if you're not a patron of the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and see those links to all our YouTube content and everything each week that gets published.
Yeah, I think you can do a follow and still get that emailed, even though if you're not a patron.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So you can follow it. It will come straight to your inbox. And that comes out around 11 a.m. every Thursday to get ready for the show. But anyway, head over there.
If someone remembers to post it.
Shut up.
The gloves are off early, guys. Wow.
Look, today I was juggling 3 different things and doing that at the same time. And I was like, I hit publish at 11:01. So suck it, Jesse. Anyway.
And there's Justin with a score update in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive in and talk about the news. Nintendo revealed their holiday bundles this week via a couple of tweets, both in the European and Canadian and North American regions. And so guess what, guys? Big surprise here that the Mark II version of the Nintendo Switch and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are going to be bundled together again this Christmas.
What?
Whoa.
No way. I didn't think, look, it's the best thing. It's the best thing since peanut butter and chocolate. It also gives you 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online individual membership. It's $299, and that's gonna, it is. I mean, you get the game for free, basically, and the NSO for free. You're gonna be available to buy this on October the 6th. So that's going to be out in stores. Also, really, I thought this was kind of cool. The Nintendo Switch Lite Isabel's Aloha Edition, bundled with Animal Crossing, is coming to stores. I believe it's a little bit later, October 20th. It's going to be a coral colored Nintendo Switch Lite with like the Animal Crossing leaf symbol tempoed on the front, and then on the back it has like the leaf outlines in white. This is going to be a Target exclusive in the US and in Canada. I don't even know this was a store. Shoppers Drug Mart. That sounds like
a bad store.
I was going to say
that is your equivalent of CVS.
I was going to say that, just based on name alone, it sounds like there would be like a closed down Church's Chicken next to it, and a vacant parking lot.
And a pawn shop on the other side.
No, again, very much.
What's wrong with that?
Where we believe you should be able to find medicine and drugs that help you easily enough. So we just label it. It's a Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah.
What's wrong with wait? What's wrong with the churches in the liquor store too? Come on.
But because
I see that all the time in Detroit. That's where I live.
The way Justin describes America is just like we go out in the woods and forage for pills.
You're not far off.
Anyway.
I just go out in the street and forage for it. So come on.
This bundle.
Fork over a lot of money. One of the two.
That's true.
Forage for the money to fork over to somebody for the drugs. Yes.
Yeah. This bundle, as well as
don't do that.
as well as the other Nintendo Switch Lite bundle, which is Timmy and Tommy's Aloha Edition with Animal Crossing, which is a turquoise colored version of this same thing. It will be $199. Interestingly enough, the Timmy and Tommy Aloha Edition will only be available at Walmart, and the Isabel Edition will only be available at Canada. At Target. In Canada, I was reading this as I'm saying it. The turquoise one is going to be in Walmart exclusive in the U.S. and Canada. In the coral colored is Target in the U.S. and Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. Both
the notes make sense. This is all Marty's confusion.
Yeah. It's been a day.
You didn't pressure coffee shots today, did you?
No,
You
I
didn't
did
do that
not.
yet?
I didn't do the three shots
because the notes make sense because I wrote them.
I've got Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay.
I also saw advertised, and I don't see it in our notes, that there will be a Nintendo Switch Sports bundle as well, but I believe that possibly is a European region only exclusive.
That's correct. That's a Nintendo.
I didn't get that PR. I didn't see that one, so I didn't edit. So if you have any information, feel free to share.
So Justin,
that's the information there.
Let's dabble in some business right here. Why? Okay, two questions I have for you is number one, why is that's Nintendo Switch bundle not coming to America? I feel like that would be like a surefire win, right? Like you get the sports bundle, it's bowling, it's family fun, it's got the leg strap included, all that good stuff. But also, why the change of tune all of a sudden with Nintendo Switch Lite and having a pack-in game, having Animal Crossing packed in with that? Like, because think about this, that is a really good value for people who don't have a Switch to have the handheld only. You're getting one of their top selling games, absolutely like top 5 games for free. If you think about it, that is a quote unquote price cut on the Nintendo Switch, because most of them are probably getting Animal Crossing or some game in that genre if they're buying that. Why do you think those two things are happening?
Yeah, so why, I guess, is sports over in the UK versus Mario Kart 8? That just may be where the market is, or they're seeing the desire to get more space in there. And I think if you look at how Nintendo approached the Wii packing in, and I was at the Reggie panel this weekend, and he talked about the conversation he had about getting Wii Sports packed into the Wii U, and how that was a bit of a gamble, and potentially, and I don't know the marketplace fully in the UK anymore, or the EU, or how the sales are comparatively. And I think that even when actually Xbox was having a conversation, like anecdotally, Nintendo is not a big platform over there. So maybe trying to say like, hey, remember Wii Sports? Remember we sort of have a Switch Sports. And so now we're looking to try and maybe reposition our target audience in that area as more evergreen, right? And
if only Nintendo published a soccer game.
Oh, right. Wait. Yeah, exactly. So that would be my guess there. And I think, Marty, your other question regarding Animal Crossing, you sort of answered your own question, which is we do have to remember Mario Kart 8, #1 selling game on the Switch, followed by, ladies and gentlemen, Animal Crossing, right? And Nintendo's mentality and belief regarding the Switch is not that it is a one per household, it is a one per person. So if you can say like, listen, I know the kids already have this Switch, the main Switch or whatever you want to call it, with Mario Kart. Oh, there's another one with the most popular game ever, and it is skinned with Animal Crossing. When we know there's such a hype community around that, enthusiastic, that is just I don't need it, but I'm going to buy it. And sitting at that $199 kind of like, it's not. It's almost blink and think purchase, right? And so I think that's really where Nintendo's looking at, is saying, listen, we want everyone to have one, so let's put out another cheaper version that becomes much more approachable. And I think an Animal Crossing version is the right bundle to be able to do that and take it with you wherever you go. I think it's a really smart marketing deal, and I think that now, if I remember, the Animal Crossing, there was no exclusive Animal Crossing Lite. There was only the core Switch, right? Yeah, there's a reason there's 2 SKUs of this going out also, right? Like, so for those collectors out there who are really into Animal Crossing, maybe they purchase both of them, right? You also have to remember Animal Crossing is not a game that transfers as easily between games. So having it built into the system is kind of critical. I think it's a really smart play. Nintendo wants to move more units. Why not give more variety? So think about it. On market, you're going to have the new Switch OLED Red Edition. You're going to have this bundle with Mario Kart 8. You're going to have 2 different lights with Animal Crossing. As you're coming into the holiday season, you as a consumer have so many choices now for what Nintendo Switch product you want and where you want to enter, or maybe you already have some. I think it's really smart marketing, and I think they're going to do themselves really a strong favor.
Yeah, I just what what has changed about their stance on pack-ins? Because it's, for we've seen so many versions of the Switch, and we're even getting the new Mario version of the OLED or OLED, as they say, which was very weird after calling it the OLED for so long. What has changed? Is it that we're nearing the end of the life cycle, or?
So here's my thought on it, and Nintendo is not a company that they are in a stance point right now where they need to do a price drop on their hardware. So how do you appear to create value is bundle, right? So Marty, you said earlier, this is a $275 value that they're doing for $200. Oh my gosh, that's a savings. So we're not slashing the price, because slashing the price of the hardware also infers potentially the hardware is ending. We're fire sailing our hardware. We want to get rid of it as quickly as possible, making room for new stock. That's what you would do, right? The new system's coming out, you put the old system on sale. By doing this, you're by doing a bundle and keeping the hardware at the same price, you are creating this value proposition that still entices people to actually purchase it, but it does not devalue Nintendo's stance on their hardware, which I think is really critical for them in this kind of transitional period that they're going to begin to look into. So I think it's a very smart reason. That's why you're seeing, I think, the bundles and packages in there as well. Anytime you can get more things, you're more apt to do something. I get a game and 3 months for the same price. Why would you not? You'd be crazy not to. That's a $175 savings, right? Boom, there you go. And so you're never dropping the hardware sticker price.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, anybody picking one of these up?
I will not.
I'm perfectly fine with the OLED I have.
Yeah, that's sort of it, right? I think I would be interested in the Animal Crossing community folks if these, right, I think the lights will move probably more than I think the core system will, because I think it's a nice wrap. I think
at this point, who doesn't have that in Mario Kart, right?
Exactly. but I mean, someone might be like, I don't have a Nintendo Switch Lite. Boy, it's portable, and the design they have, the wrap on the back, and then the sticker or the emblem on the front, that does kind of look nice, right? With the game packed in, right? This is an easy Christmas under the tree present. You open it up, bang, here you go, kids. You can go to your island for the next 8 hours, and I don't have to talk to you. See you later, bye. Right?
So do you remember when
grown up time?
Yeah.
Do you remember when this was the 2DS/3DS at the $199 price point?
Yeah,
that was what their bundle was every holiday. Thanksgiving. It's like, hey, we got to get that bundle out so that people can buy that and get that in Pokemon. And so I think it fits a real nice price point for parents. I'm like you. I see a ton of these lights going. Also, isn't it interesting that they're releasing this the exact same day that the Mario OLED comes out? It's all October 6th.
Great catch.
It's all October 6th.
So when those parents go in to get that Mario one sold out. Oh, well, we have this one.
That is sort of it, right? You go in, there are three.
Or the other way around. Yeah, or the other way around. They come in hearing about the $300 deal, and they said, "Oh, for $50 more, you got this better version." It can be upsold,
or you can say, "But I don't get a game, and it's $100 cheaper. I'm doing that one, right?" So it's going to be very interesting.
Or parents, or here's alternative 3. This one's $350, or I can get 2 for $400.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah. How many kids you have, right? Makes sense.
I mean, there's obviously there's got to be a reason for a company the size of Nintendo to do all that on one day. There's got to be some marketing data or something there that we're not seeing. So, so it's out there. We already know kind of what their holiday plans are. We'll be talking in the coming weeks about deals on games that we see coming. I fully expect that you'll see lots of games for Nintendo Switch on sale this holiday season, because, and this is just like my 2 cents, my prediction is that there's going to be a lot of developers. There's going to be a lot of big box stores that are kind of see the writing on the wall. If the rumors that we're going to talk about later on are kind of to be believed or even to be bought into, that this might be the last big push holiday for like getting software out there, right? Like at a discount. So I fully expect we'll see a ton of stuff that's and then some of the stuff's already on sale. Like if you haven't got Mario and Rabbids the Sparks of Hope yet, it's like a permanent $30 now at Best Buy. I saw a friend tweeting about that today. So I think you'll see video games are going to be a big hot ticket item as they normally are for Black Friday and all that. So but I think we'll see a lot of software stuff. Here's my holiday purchase on the front end. I'm hoping that we get like the $20 or $30 Jedi Survivor because I haven't picked that up yet for PS5. That's my get. That's what I want. But who knows? Who knows? Speaking of software, Nintendo announced this week that there will be none, not a bit of DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. In an interview with Famitsu, Eiji Aonuma says he basically ruled out additional content for the Nintendo Switch exclusive. He says there are no plans to release additional content this time, and that's because I feel like we've done everything we can to create fun in that world. Just real quick, right here, everybody, do you agree with that statement? Have they squeezed?
I still have Korok seeds to find.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you do with this world, right?
The only thing I can think of is maybe get more information, like play as Zelda in what she's doing during this time.
Yes.
And I said
like kind of point of view.
I kind of said the same thing during Skyward Sword. You know, that would have been a fun side story because you know she's doing something else, but you don't know exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, that would be cool, like a prequel or scenes or whatever.
To that note,
provide more context.
To that note, why not make a game about what she's doing during Ocarina of Time as Sheik?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I would be down for that. Like I'm okay with that, but I think this makes sense, right? Like this game is massive. It's really like 3 maps in one. There's like. I saw somebody say something about the sages, like maybe they could do something with that. But other than that, it's like, I don't know, Jacqueline, how many hours have you put into Tears of the Kingdom?
55, 56. I had to take a break from it.
Yeah, have you beaten it yet?
No.
Me either. So.
I think I'm the only one who has.
I got the book and everything.
There's so many games, right? It's like we're drowning in games, especially like long games right now. Sea of Stars, WrestleQuest, Starfield for some people, Baldur's Gate, Mario RPG's coming out in a month or so. It's
Sea of Stars.
Yep, I said yeah.
Oh, you did say that one? Okay.
But you can say it twice. It's fine.
Because it's that good, right? Yeah. What obviously like the speculation is that they're doing this because they're already at work on a new Zelda game, right? And I would like to say to that, well, duh. I mean, in fact, I would say that they're already at work on the new Zelda game for whatever Nintendo's next system is.
Mm-hmm.
So what year do you think that's coming out?
2029.
Well, I would say we have to if we assume that the next Zelda game is a large open world scaled game like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, then you're looking at 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What there could also very much be is another 2D, right? Kind of not Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening kind of game. They've got a brand new one, right? So
it's been that rumor of them working on a remake of the first two. So
yeah,
that's where I was going to go. I think they're going to do something small and before another, the internal team is probably not going to work on it. They'll probably outsource that out, Grezzo or whoever. But yeah, while the core team's doing the next big thing, but I think we'll see something small before we see the next big one.
Didn't Al Numa say something around the time that Tears of the Kingdom came out, or right before it, where he was basically quoted as saying, "This is it. This is the Zelda. This is how Zelda is going to be from now on. Like, we're not going back to the collect 3 things, go through 8 temples, fight Ganon. It's
on the new games, yes."
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they can't. That doesn't mean that it has to be a open world sandbox.
Right.
No,
It can change into something completely
Sand
different.
It doesn't mean the remakes won't follow those old formulas either. So, or open up those formulas to be like the Link Between Worlds formula. So
I think it's time that Zelda 2 gets a remake, at least. Maybe not the first one, but I think that is the game that is in the Zelda catalog that's begging for a remake more than anything. Add some new mechanics, make it a little more friendly to
rebalance the ending.
Yeah. Actually, give the game an ending. That would be good too.
Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. I beat it on NSO with rewind. So hush.
Okay, and I completely don't blame you on that rewind thing, because I did the same thing when I replayed it on NSO as well.
I don't know why, but that game has always had my number. Those nights in the dungeons, with the stabby, patterns. I can't do it.
What are they called again, Justin?
What?
Dark nuts.
Dark.
Last time I said dark nuts, you sounded confused. Especially the blue ones. The blue ones are just ugly.
Dark blue nuts.
This is a family show. Los niños.
Y'all.
Giggling.
Anyway, one of our listeners, Koopa Kid 80, asked this. He says, "Giving Nintendo announcing no DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, what are your thoughts on DLC and its release as the console's lifespan begins and ends? Do you think there's a correlation to the frequency / amount of content of DLC as a console such as Switch is coming to an end?" Excuse me. "In some respects, I could see an increase as DLC is easier to make than a whole game, and in some it decreases as the console support is waning from third parties. What are your thoughts?"
I think the Switch is the first real system where we have seen Nintendo sort of take a very proactive stance in regards to DLC. And so if you look at a lot of their games that they issued out had DLC. Why is my Amazon Alexa going off? Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
You broke it.
No, my kids, I think, are doing something. Hold on. I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst.
All right.
So to continue Justin's thought here, I'm sorry, Jesse, you go ahead.
I don't think it has anything to do with where in the console lifestyle it is. I think if a business thinks DLC makes financial sense, they're going to do it. Doesn't matter when.
Yeah.
And we know, right. That infamously being the first one, but I think if Nintendo definitely could sell a crap ton of DLC if they wanted to. They just probably didn't want to put forth the development effort and wanted to start moving on.
I think the other part of it is also, does it fit with their product? I think we all said, when Odyssey came out, Nintendo's going to have a DLC, and it's going to be
Delfino Island.
Delfino Island, right? We were all like, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. And it never happened. And Nintendo's, I think, stance on that was, this is exactly what it needed to be, right? This was the game we wanted to deliver. There doesn't need to be it. And I think you can see companies really look at DLC as, how do I continue to monetize? How do I continue to not necessarily player back for content and their dollars. And I don't mean to be thrown. Ubisoft is a great example. Ubisoft is notorious, right, for their amount of season passes and DLC that they try and put in. I think Nintendo does it in a way that does as kind of icky is the word I'm going to use.
Yeah, I saw it.
Is there? I think you look at the value of the Mario Kart 8, right? That's a huge value from a DLC perspective. You look at Splatoon 3's DLC, feels a little bit lackluster, a little bit weak. So I think they have kind of been playing with the strategy of what works for them. And I'm not upset that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have anything. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. And I think in whole, Nintendo does do a good job with their DLC. Other companies, and it's obvious that they do it, literally remove items from the game just to resell it to you later. Where Nintendo generally sells a full complete product, and only if they have more ideas later will they start throwing DLC at it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a Switch shirt for Link.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I was surprised actually that we weren't going to get a DLC, but now that, with all the comments around it and the timing of the Switch, I think timing does play a factor into that decision. And then the factor of maybe they were like their decisions to make a second Breath of the Wild. They had another plan or another game idea that they really want to jump into and knew that time would be spent on that rather than DLC.
I think if you look at Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as bookends to the Switch, and I know Metroid Prime 4 is still out there, but who knows what's going on with that? That's a whole nother thing. But if you look at these two Zelda games as bookends for the Switch, I would say this, that Nintendo at Breath of the Wild is realizing that, or is going into like releasing Breath of the Wild, even during development, and going, we need extra here because we don't know how all of this is going to go. Nintendo with Tears of the Kingdom is like mic drop, boom,
boom,
we're done.
Yep,
we're done. It's what you're seeing is a completely different company mindset, right? You're at the start of the Switch, you're seeing, we know we've got lightning in a bottle here with this, but we're still having to fight to exist because the Wii U just about killed us. To look at us now, like it's just big time in it, right? I mean, that they dropped Tears of the Kingdom and they know what it's going to do. And they can at this point go, nope, that's it. That's enough.
We're done.
Because we're done here. Because, and two, like, as the developers of this game, like, I would say almost to this question, what else could you possibly want? This is like 110-hour game. Like, there's so much in that game.
What more do you people want?
Right, exactly.
Like, we took the world of the first game and completely turned it on its head and made a brand new thing out of it. Introduced all this new stuff. What else could you possibly need or want? I say that as a person who, like, I've stalled on on Tears of the Kingdom. I can't get back into it right now because I've got so much other stuff. But I know when I go back to it, I'm going to still have so much to dig my teeth into, right?
I keep going back to this image of the movie Gladiator, right? And Russell Crowe standing in the middle. He's like, "Are you not entertained?"
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's I'd love to see Enuma with the shield. Are you not entertained? The other reality of it is, and this is sort of the business approach, is I wonder if they have the data to show the amount of development time and costs it takes to do DLC versus the amount of people that actually purchase it versus the amount of people that actually complete it, and whether the value cost return of investment is there for them. Right. And so that may be a decision of like, it doesn't, like, we could do that and we may break even, or we actually may not make more. Let's just redivert our teams. The impression I would more get, though, is that the statement from an artistic perspective, which I think is what we're hearing from the producer here, is the story that we have wanted to told is told, right? And that is what it is, and we're okay to let it stand, and we are happy as can be. And I think that that's okay, right? I think sometimes what you have is what you have, and that's okay to be that thing. But we as consumers of video games have just become so like, ring a bell and I'll salivate, Pavlov's dog in regards to, where's the DLC? What's going on next? There's got to be more. And you're like, no, it literally could just be that one thing. It could be, a 10-hour game, and that's it, right? Or whatever that game is. And I kind of laugh. Sea of Stars, we're going to talk about that later. The team has already come out and said they're doing a DLC for it, right? That was already sort of in the pipeline and going. But you're like,
it's going to tie into the Messenger.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we can also, but that's also strategy of a company saying, what I know you don't have is time, money, and resources. So I want to show you the value of this game. I want to tell you why you need to invest time and energy in this. So why Starfield is such a big thing right now, right? Endless amount of possibilities world, the value proposition, dollars to time is very different. And that's the thing we always compete against, is the resource of time is the thing that we never get back, right? So where you spend that time is important.
Dang, Justin, you're over there like waxing philosophical, man.
Mic drop. He forgot the mic drop.
Boom. Done.
We're just talking about video games, and he's over here like spitting about life. The resource of time is you can never get back. Put that on a shirt. All right.
I can tell you right now, preview, that's actually said by the person I interview in the meeting that we're doing as our bonus episode.
Well, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Moving on, a couple other little news items here. The Charles Martinet and Miyamoto video that was referenced when the announcement of Martinet's retirement from voicing Mario has dropped. Interestingly enough, first on Game Explain's channel instead of Nintendo. But
I also saw it on Game Trailers. I don't know if it dropped at the same time. It's probably dropped in many other places, but I never saw it on Nintendo's channel.
I actually watched it on Nintendo's channel via Twitter. It was there when that's the first place I saw it.
It was a whole 3-minute video, so it was probably fully embedded within Twitter.
Yeah. So this is out there. Thank goodness we were wrong. This is not Miyamoto's retirement video. Actually, it's a very wholesome and very sweet video. I thought a very fitting way for Charles to end his time as the voice of Mario, just talking about his experience and then kicking over to Miyamoto and having him talk about his experience in working with Charles and sharing some laughs and of course Charles doing some Mario voices along the way. But I want to kind of pair this with another little news bite that I saw this week, that Charles Martinet has absolutely no clue what a Mario ambassador is. And neither do we. No one knows what this role is. And I also thought it was really, really weird that he was not at Nintendo Live at all to be the Mario ambassador at Nintendo's big events. What in the world?
He's got to take some retirement time right now, and then he'll go back out on the road.
Justin's face looks like you have something to say.
You're still muted, Suzu.
You're still muted, sir. Double muted.
Charles Martinet.
Someone put him in timeout.
Am I still in?
No, you're fine.
We hear you now.
Charles Martinet is a national treasure and did amazing work as Mario, and I'm thankful for all of that time that he's done that. And that is all I will say to that.
Here's the thing. It is hilarious to watch that voice come out of his mouth.
His real one?
The Mario voice. It's weird. I don't know. It's just anyway. But speaking of voice work, Chris Hemsworth has been attached to play Fox McCloud in an animated Star Fox movie, which will be produced by Illumination. Where is this coming from?
Where are we getting this from?
Where is
who did someone just punk us?
This is news to me. I have not read this.
Cameras anywhere?
No, it was It was announced, or something like that. It was on a website. I forget what website it was.
As long as it wasn't hard drive.
It was on the internet. So it must be true.
It must be true. It must be true. Anyway, strike that from the notes. Anyway.
No, it was on a movie website. I forget what the website was. The source said that it was that they were going to.
You know what? I'm fact checking you as we speak.
Which is why I put source links in my notes.
Okay.
Well, while he's doing that,
okay, hang on. Whoa.
Okay,
it's from notable Disney websites Inside the Magic is reporting this. Headline: Chris Hemsworth reportedly abandons Marvel, heads to billion-dollar Nintendo franchise.
I wouldn't say.
No, we don't always put our source links in our notes, so we don't always do that, sir.
So
I do when I think it's relevant.
Website Giant Freaking Robot has reported Chris Hemsworth has been cast in an upcoming animated adaptation of Nintendo's long-running and beloved Star Fox video game franchise. Naturally, Hemsworth will be voicing the lead character of Fox McCloud, an anthropomorphic Fox leader of the Star Fox team.
I don't doubt that, like, Star Fox. That's the franchise you're going towards is Star Fox.
This is where I'm with Justin. This is kind of where I like pull back on this. Is like you just had $1 billion video game movie with Mario, and the next thought is let's make a Star Fox.
Okay, let me jump in here real quick. So because I thought the same thing, and I went through my progressions to make sure I wasn't going to put some BS up on here. So I did do that. I had gone through here, and what I thought was that doesn't make sense. But you got to think about it is that maybe, just maybe, they had already started this while they were doing the Mario movie so they could get something else ready to come out quicker and then be ready to come out in a couple of years while they worked on the second Mario movie.
Okay. I'm following you here. Look, let's go Pixar theory here, right? Pixar always puts whatever their next movie is in their current movie, right? Right? There's a little Easter egg for the next movie. Uh-huh. What was on top of Mario's TV while he was playing Kid Icarus in his apartment? What was it? Say it.
It was an X-Wing.
An X-Wing?
Or whatever it is. That's how bad the franchise is. I don't even remember what it's called.
That franchise isn't bad. What are you talking about?
Hey, let me ask you this, Tim. The Switch has been
Email
around
complaints
for like 7 years. What franchise has Nintendo definitely not touched during the Switch's age?
They've always take breaks for a long time. How long did it take before they made their next Metroid game, and then they finally made a Metroid game? So we can't use that as an excuse.
Listen, I understand the Detroit Lions are losing right now, but I don't like this energy.
By 3 points. Come on. It's just a field goal right now. Jeez.
Right now, pizza's getting sent, not barbecue. So we'll see when this will happen because, of course, everything right now going on with the strikes has everything up in the air, but it's something to kind of keep on the back burner, back of the mind. Maybe this is coming. I would love, personally, if it is a real animated Star Fox movie, I'm all for it. Like, do it like, you know what? Do it like, you remember that movie that came out a few years ago, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, where all the characters looked real, but also kind of weirdly animated. Do it like that, or do it in the animation style of the new Ninja Turtles movie. I'm in. I like, it doesn't need to be like super glossy, super overly produced. Like I would love it to have some kind of like crazy art style. But anyway,
before we move on, I wanted to say the thing I found most amusing about the Martinet Miyamoto conversation was that Charles refers to him as Papa.
Yes.
Which he said multiple times, Papa.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And also Miyamoto told this story about Martinet almost knocking his head off on the doorway of a Japanese restaurant.
Right.
Because he's so tall, you know. So and he was like, "Oh, that was funny." Moving on. Which we're also moving on. It's been reported that ReedPop and the ESA have parted ways. And if you don't know what that means, it means that that if there is an E3 2024, it will not be held at the LA Convention Center. The possibility exists that it could be an online only show, going back to that. But of course, Jeff Keighley used that news to tweet that Summer Game Fest 2024 will be held in LA in June. But games industry also reports that the ESA is working on a complete reinvention of E3 for 2025, not 2024. I don't think it's likely this comes back.
No. They tried to reinvent it for 2023, and we saw how well that worked.
Wasn't there a downturn on the E3 thing at one point too, either in the late 90s or early 2000s, where they weren't doing well and maybe even missed a show or two? And then
I don't remember what year, but there was a year where they crunched it down. They wanted it to bring it back to and be really strict about being industry only, and they had it somewhere else, and only had 5,000 or 6,000 people show up, and everyone I've heard talk about it really hated the new format. And then they kind of went over the next few years, went back to the convention center and the traditional format, which is how, that's how it was when I went in 2011. So I think that year was what you were referring to was more like a 2006, 2005 thing. Again, I don't remember the year. And it's been that way, from 2011 through 2018, I would say. 2019 was when things started going downhill, and then 2020 happened, and they never recovered.
Yeah, it may not be 2025, but I think eventually it will come back. One, for people will start talking about how they miss, what it used to stand for, what it used to be. Somebody will take control that will know what they're doing and do it right, and then it'll come back, and it'll come back strong because of nostalgia.
I was going to say, what you're saying is the great and powerful nostalgia will cause it to rise from the grave, right?
Yes.
Because it does everything. I mean, eventually everything gets its turn with nostalgia, whether it's good or not.
Absolutely.
I got it. It'll be Nintendo Live with other people afterwards. Then people will show up.
Maybe it will be. Jacqueline, I know you do a lot of appearances at conventions and things like that.
I do.
Did you ever get to go to E3 or anything similar?
No, I want to so bad. You have no idea. My appearances are usually in a host or MC capacity.
Yeah.
On an occasion, I get a table every now and then, but
I got
Would you do if Jeff Keighley called you up and asked you to, be a guest host on the Game Awards show, or even the Summer Fest? Would you do that?
I got gowns in the closet. I can pack them up and get to the airport.
He's all in.
I like it. A couple of game release updates and other game news that we want to throw your way here as we round out our news. New games are now available from Nintendo Switch Online, all of which you probably have never heard of, which is always fun or not. Super Nintendo gets Kirby Star Stacker, which was originally a Game Boy game that was released worldwide in 1997, but remade for the Super Famicom in 1998 with a release that didn't leave Japan. And yes, besides the game saying press start at the beginning, everything in this game is in Japanese. So have your little Google Translate lens out so you can play, which is what I did. The game sucks. Anyway, that's why it never came over here. Also, Game Boy gets Quest for Camelot, which is what happens if you order The Legend of Zelda for Game Boy from Wish. And then Nintendo Entertainment System got Downtown Neketsu March, Super Awesome Field Day, which is
great name. Love it.
Yeah, which is one of the Japanese entrants in the Kunio-kun series. And help me out here, Jesse, on this. Kunio-kun, is that what we call River City Ransom?
River City Ransom.
Yeah.
Renegade, River City Ransom, and then it's made by Technos Japan. That's their style.
Yeah. This game is 4 schools competing in a joint sports festival field day, which of course all schools do every spring. And then this one is the one I'm really interested in, Joy Mech Fight, which is another Japanese only game for the Famicom. But this is the game that the much hated assist trophy from Smash Brothers, Sukapon, comes from.
Yeah, I thought we already had this on Switch, or was this released somewhere else? Was it Wii U? Maybe was it? Because I thought I've seen this game before, and we've talked about it before. I just don't remember where.
It may have been on the Wii U. I'm going to look that up, but basically, it is a fighting game for the original Nintendo. It looks really bizarre.
Yeah, your character is basically 4 geometric shapes.
Yeah, it was okay. Game was released on the Wii Virtual Console in 2008 in Japan, the Wii Virtual Console in March in 2009 in South Korea. Nintendo Switch Online September 2023 in North America. It's never been over here.
I know we've talked about this game before. I just don't remember how or why.
I don't know. But anyway, those are all out now. If you want to race to update your system, those apps. Also, Gunbrella is out next week, and as of the show, or as of this week going at PAX, they released a demo of this game that is now on the eShop, and actually you can play I don't think it's a pretty big chunk of the game, but it's enough to tell whether you like this game or not. It's a fantastic demo.
I had an opportunity to play it at PAX during the media time, right before everyone else kind of got on the floor. Went and played it, had a great time with it. I literally walked over to the booth and I was like, "Hey, this game's fantastic. When is it coming out?" And he's like, "We just tweeted it out 5 minutes ago." And I was like, "Oh, fair enough." And he's like, "And the demo is available." I will tell you one of the things that I found, like I played it in handheld mode. It is a game that feels better when you're playing it with a proper controller. Just with sort of the jumping off the walls and opening up your umbrella and moving across the screen and kind of that boosting. A proper Pro controller or not in a handheld mode, I find it works much more effectively. Again, I don't think it's a design fault, but I found it much easier in with the Pro controller.
I played this on the TV with the Pro controller, and you're right. It does feel really good, but I will say this on the front end. I definitely think you should play the demo because it's a very well made game, but it is also super difficult in some parts. I found it to be super difficult, but you can tell the love and care that's gone into this game. I cannot wait for it to come out next week, and it's going to be like $15. So. And again, I'm telling you this, it's a Devolver published game. And I've said this on the show before, Devolver don't miss. All right. They don't.
Also, interesting thing, if you are only slowly starting to get into Devolver games now, there is a massive sale on Devolver games right now in the eShop. Like Inscription, I think, is 40% off, Katana Zero, Broforce, Cult of the Lamb. So there is some massive mess. I will also sorry to spoil, Devolver Digital had probably one of the best booths at PAX West. It was pretty awesome, pretty cool, very big, and they knew exactly what they are. And so I would, check out their game. It's fantastic stuff.
Love it. We'll get into that. And Justin, actually, you're going to have some your impressions because you're actually playing this game right now.
I have got Gunbrella for review. We were kind enough to grab a code yesterday, and I'm playing through it right now. So that's all I can say. But we will have coverage of it next week when the embargo actually drops. But again, it's out right now on the demo. Like you can go play the demo right now.
So that's what I wanted to ask. As a technical question, did you play the demo before you downloaded the actual game? I guess I'm asking because I want to know: do you have to redo all of that? Or does your save carry over?
I will tell you this. I downloaded the demo on 2 different consoles, or the demo was on one console and the actual game that I'm reviewing was on the other one. So I just
Gotcha. Because they're like the demo takes you through up to a boss fight, and I was just wondering if you had to do it. I'm okay if you have to do that all again. It was like probably less than 2 hours of actual gameplay, but I would love it if that transferred over. But if not, it's okay. Also, Solar Ash is out on September 14th, and also announced was Retro Game Challenge 1 and 2 Replay. The first game in this series was released on the DS here in North America. Second game was not released outside of Japan. For those of you who are wondering what this is, in the game, this is from the Wikipedia page, the player controls a boy or girl who plays retro games in order to appease a demon. Sounds like a perfect game to give your kids. All right.
I played the first game and loved it. I would love if this seemed to, here. We don't yet know if that's going to happen or not.
Well, you also played Doki Doki Literature Club and liked it. So, I mean,
yes.
So there you go.
As you do.
No release date has been announced for this. Of course, the announcement right now is for the Japan region only. So who knows if this is coming over here. Also, Netflix will be getting Castlevania Nocturne on September 28th. So if you've been following those animated series over there, you can go and check that out. Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition is coming to Switch on October 6th, as well as Transformers Earthspark on October 13th, which I was surprised. It actually looks pretty good. And this announcement, I love this. Gargoyles Remastered is coming to the Switch on October 19th. The old school, beloved cult classic Disney animated show Gargoyles did get a video game back in the day, and that is being completely redone, remastered.
It was on the Mega Drive, right?
Yes, I believe so. You can swap back and forth between the old art style and the new art style. There's a rewind feature. It just looks really well done, and that's going to be out again October 19th.
Yeah, the day before Spider-Man 2 and Mario Wonder. So this game is not going to go anywhere.
That week is Sonic. What's the new one coming out? Is it Sonic Generations or something like that? Whatever the new Sonic game is that looks really good. Sonic Superstar, Gargoyles Remastered, Spider-Man 2, and Mario Wonder all in like a 3-day period. And I'm sure that there'll be some other game that decides to release during that time too.
Sure, why not?
I'm looking at you, Outer Wilds.
Right.
It's never coming. Never.
Hey, we got King of the Hat last week, so it'll, never say never.
We did. And I
don't think anyone's playing it because no one cares anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Ship has sailed. Well, that's all of our news. Let's take a quick ad break for our friends at Manscaped.
Hey, folks, supporting Nintendo Dads is brought to you by Manscaped. It is fresh ball fall is upon us, and you need to be in the festive spirit. Light a candle, get some pumpkin spice, and make sure your balls look nice. With the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. Nature may clear the leaves of their trees, but you'll need Manscaped to help you get rid of your sweater weather. Get your pants puppies prepared for cuffing season with a trim and refreshing as a fall breeze by going to manscaped.com and using the code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Of course, we love all the products that Manscaped has provided us. They've got some new ones coming out as well. Last week it was mentioned they've got a new kind of like a little travel bag pouch that's great for if you travel a lot, little smaller portions of their content. They've got a new razor, not just the beard trimmer, but they've got another razor kind of just for a guy like me who's got more of a 5 o'clock shadow all the time, which is great. They have got so many lotions and products and tools to make your man grooming daily activity a joy. And so head over to Manscaped, use that code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support of Nintendo Dads. Back to you, Marty.
every time you do that ad read, I learn a new term.
Pants puppies.
Thank God.
My favorite part is I don't read the ad read before I read the ad read. So when I look at it, I am clearly, I was like, oh, okay. Right. Those words did not die. Okay. All right. Fair enough then. But bless them, Manscaped. They do write some pretty good ads.
They do. I love it. So it's time to turn on our guest spotlight, and we're going to shine that bright light right on to our guest, our Patreon producer, Jacqueline Amira. And we want to just start out by asking you the question, what have you been up to? Like, maybe people, and I think this would be a great time to, maybe people have joined us and have started listening since the last time you were on the show. So this would be a great time to kind of introduce yourself, tell people who you are, what you do, and just let us in. What have you been doing?
Oh, hello to everyone at home or listening to the podcast at a later time. My name is Jacqueline Amira. I am a transformation model. I am also a Patreon producer for the Nintendo Dads. I love these guys. Aren't they great? I also MC and I act now too. And I've been in 11 magazines so far. 3 of those I've been on the cover. Okay. You can't put me on a spotlight after the Dane Manscaped ad because you saw the faces I was making as he was reading it off. Some of those terms, I'm just like, whoa, okay. But so long story short, I'm not looking to make anybody cry here, but I was once almost 300 pounds. I was bullied a lot as a kid growing up. My own family did most of the bullying. My journey for fitness and modeling and everything didn't start until I gave them the boot. And then when COVID hit, I started getting in touch with fitness organizations, professional athletes and coaches, and I started getting into shows. And like piece by piece, everything started coming together. Now, I didn't do any fitness shows this year, but I'm actually doing an 8-week transformation challenge with my friends at One Up Nutrition. And this is, let me see, can you guys see this? There we go. One of the products that I'm using right now.
That's a perfect name.
Strawberry shortcake protein ice cream. And you guys, I'm not kidding when I say this. They actually have the crunchies in here from the popsicle itself from the ice cream truck. And if you all don't mind, indulge the nice pinup model lady who's still red from the dang Manscaped ad. If you have a beverage with you, whether it's coffee, water, tea, grown-up stuff. I don't drink alcohol. That's my decision. But if you could just please raise your glass at this time, and I actually have the protein shake in here. That's what I've been drinking. If you are out there right now trying to better yourself each and every day, taking steps, whether it's through physical fitness, whether it's a challenge like mine with One Up Nutrition. If you miss this one, there'll be another one, I promise. They do one every season. Or if it's self-care, mental health, whatever you have to do that you're doing to get you to a better you, I salute you. Salud. Let's take a step. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, wow. Okay, that's really good. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. It tastes just like ice cream. I also have connections in the Power Rangers actor community. I do know some of the OGs from the show. Some of them I consider family. They know more about me than most people do. One of those being Austin St. John, who played Jason Lee Scott, the first Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin. He has a Kickstarter campaign running right now. It's been running, actually, we're on the tail end of it. It's running till September 18th. If one of you wonderful lads would be so kind as to pull it up on the internet, I'd greatly appreciate it. Austin, honey, if you're watching this, I'm going to do you proud, I promise. This project that he's doing, it's Redemption Comics. It's actually not Power Rangers related at all, which I found very interesting. I know he served overseas as a paramedic. I'm a veterans kid, and I'm actually backing this project myself. So
I'm trying to find it. What's it called?
Redemption Comics. Fred, let me see. I got notes on this.
Redemption Book 1.
Thank you. And he puts himself in the story as a Reaper. And this character goes through some stuff. It goes through demons. He comes home. He's trying to find his wife and kid. Like, the story itself is very compelling, and the artwork is beautiful. If you want to get involved, you still got some time. We go up to September 18th. I think around noonish is when the campaign cuts off. And this is the second issue, and you have an opportunity to get the first one as well, depending on which tier you decide to back. And Austin is a sweetheart. I met him 5 years ago, and I was just like, I just want to give you a present. I had a veterans project of my own running, and I gave him a ribbon, and it was one of those moments where it's like, oh, okay, you're not a starstruck kid. Come on down. What's your name? And everything just kind of took off after that. But it's a great story, and I can't stress this enough. It's not Power Rangers related at all. It is gritty, it is dark, and I actually love that about this series.
Yeah, I'm on the website right now, and it's the artwork is really good on this.
It is.
And it is like, if you go to there's the Kickstarter, but then there's also the website, which is it's redemptioncomics.com, but instead of an I, it's a 1. You can see
gotta be different.
Very like easy to see that this is not about Power Rangers. Like, there's some dragon like demon on the cover. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It took me so long to find it, because when I did a search for it, I found the first one he did back in 2022. I'm like, hey, that's not the one she's talking about now. Where's the real one? And I finally found it.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, I have a pageant this coming Sunday that I will be hosting, Miss Pin Up the Bay Orlando. That's at Osceola Heritage Park. A lot of the women that are competing in this show competed in other shows that I've hosted. And as soon as I found out that they were going to do a show closer to where I live, I was like, I need to host that show. I need to be there for those girls. I want to make sure they have their time in the sun. I want to make sure this is done right. It's not even about the money for me with this show, to be honest. I am their big sister. I said it with the first show. Because like, there was so much stuff that happens, whether it's a 1, 2, or a 3-day event that I'm put on. And there's so much prep that goes into it. And there's so much stuff that happens backstage up until when I come out on the mic and announce people. And like, I don't think you guys understand. Anything can happen on these shows. Someone could grab the mic from my hand. Someone could boo from the audience and think it's showtime at the Apollo. Somebody could
walk up to you and slap you. I don't know.
Exactly. And I try to be, that hasn't happened yet, thank God. But I try to be prepared for every scenario possible.
If that happens now, at this show, we're blaming Tim.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm sure you're well protected, though. I'm sure you got a whole crew of people that will protect you. So you'll be all right.
I can handle myself, but
I was going to say, we'll blame Tim, and then he'll send you whatever food you like. Since that's what we're doing on this.
I'm just ordering Detroit pizza for everybody. So.
I'm fine with this. I'll get you my address after this.
Right.
So,
all right.
So awesome. So, when Patreon producers come on the show, we ask you, hey, bring your own topic, right? Because that's we want to talk about what you want to talk about. And so, this is the topic that Jacqueline brought along this time. It says we're in the spooky season, and Halloween Horror Nights have started both where I'm in Florida and at Universal California too. So, if you were in charge at Universal, what video game would you want turned into its own haunted house? Go, Justin. You're muted.
I am unmuted now. I would very much like to see an Animal Crossing haunted house. I want to see a zombified Tom Nook and KK Slider. And I also want them to move at like an incredibly slow pace. And like just like the theme song for Animal Crossing, slow that down by like 50%. Right. And
no. And put it in a minor key.
Yeah,
Right?
and the minor
kind
key,
of
Exactly.
off tune keys there.
yeah. Like the thing is, you have to like find you arrive, like picture it, you arrive like on a boat on a dock in the island, and you have to find time to get to an airplane to get off. And somewhere in there's a zombified Tom Nook, Isabel, KK Slider, and they are slowly coming to find you.
And that faceless cat from the DS version.
Yeah, like that.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh.
Yeah, and that
And
would
see-
scare the living bejeebus out of me.
Honestly, this dovetails directly with my idea, which was for an Animal Crossing game a few years ago. If you remember, I've talked about this. I brought this up. This would be perfect, Justin. Look, let's go into business together here.
Yeah.
It's Night of the Living Gyroids,
Yep.
right? They're like the gyroids are clawing up from under the ground, and they're coming for you, and they're making all these weird sounds and like, and like freaking out and all this stuff, and they're chasing you, and like Tom Nook is coming through the door swinging a big sack of money, and Isabel's got a chainsaw and she's giggling, Mayor, I'm coming to help, except no, I'm coming to help kill you,
No, she's got the Doom Guy helmet and weapons.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see as a horror.
Okay, I like it. Maybe Jesse and Tim have a more serious answer.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that
I was going to
I thought
say
it was
the
pretty good,
easy
Terrell.
answer. The easy answer is Luigi's Mansion. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's right there.
So, not a very original answer, but the first thing I thought of was, the old Atari Haunted House game.
That would be scary. If it was
Okay.
an 8-bit, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's going to say Resident Evil here, like the original Resident Evil, the mansion.
I have
that's
a
the
completely
last game
different
I think
answer for
of.
that question.
Yeah, Jacqueline, what do you got for us? Like you posed the question. I want to know what you get your answer as.
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The world is
Oh,
already ending in this game. Everybody's freaking out. There's a mask that has one purpose. We can have some fun with this.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a good one.
great
Okay.
point. That's a really good
I
point.
like it. The you've got 72 hours to get out. We're gonna, it's extreme survival challenge.
Yep.
Love it.
If you really want to go scary, obviously, then you've got Dead by Daylight as an option where you can have, a real life Dead by Daylight environment where you got the most popular scary characters from the movies, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, all the different
These are all
ones
games I don't play, so I don't know much about them.
coming at you from different environments, and you're trying to escape and maybe even help your friends. You could make it like an escape room type of experience where you're doing the same things, and then each one of your friends ends up disappearing if you're not there to help them.
Yeah, and it's just, it's just, and the whole thing is called Pee Pee Pants Town. That's all it is, because that's where I would be if I was in. I don't do these things because I know I will either use the bathroom on myself or I will assault a cast member.
Right. Yeah.
Because there was like a few years ago when I was living at the last town I lived in, one of our teenagers that we were working with there decided it would be really funny because I'm going to say something I've never said on this podcast. I have a fear. I do not like clowns. All right, I don't.
Oh, me too. You're not alone.
Okay,
Me too.
so I don't like clowns. And he thought it would be funny, like in our carport, which was outside. I pulled up, and there's like a little closet, like a little storage room out there, and he hid in there in a clown mask at night, and came
Overnight?
out. No, like as I was getting out of the car, he was already there, and he came up behind me, and I turned around and I grabbed him by the throat and choke slammed him on the top of my car. On the hood.
That's very appropriate. That
Like-
sounds like something you would do.
Look, like he's like grabbing the mask. It's me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Please don't call the police. But like he It was like it
Just
wasn't
the
just like
Undertaker on him.
it wasn't just like a clown mask. It was
That's
like one of
right.
those like decaying, creepy clown masks, you know. And he did, like he came out of the thing and he did some laugh. He was like, you know, and I was like, it was go time. I told him, I was like, you should be glad. I was like, I almost started swinging. Like it was.
You didn't have to. You did choke slam.
Yeah, that's
Nobody's
right. I
gonna
mean,
after that.
yeah.
On the car.
When I sent the topic to Tim, I said, me and haunted houses don't get along, LOL. And we don't, because when I was in college, I was out on a date with my college boyfriend and I had this cute little blue dress on. And it was this area in Florida that has one of those like really old haunted houses that runs all year. They try to get people to come in. And in the middle of the sidewalk, there is a coffin. And it's obvious that there's somebody in it. And their job is to pop up and scare people. And me and my date were walking around and talking. And, you know, I'm in college. I'm all silly and goofy and ha, ha, ha. And someone pops up out of the coffin and tries to scare me and tugs my dress. And I turned around and I knocked him out.
Yes, that's what they deserve. Stop doing that. Don't do that.
Me and haunted houses don't get along. And better yet, you want to know the kicker? I got an offer to run that house. And I turned it down.
Oh.
It's because they saw how you took care of business. You kept the employees in line. There you go.
Knocked him out. It was just really quick reaction cross right in the
a couple of years ago, we went to this conference up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and the hotel we were staying at in the parking garage is right next to a very well-known haunted house. It's been there for years. And so it's fine until you roll up, like you're getting there. And like we had gotten caught in traffic and stuff. And we got there at like 10 o'clock at night. And we're in this empty parking garage because we chose to stay a night extra at the beginning. And so we were there before a lot of people. So we pull up in this parking garage and like I'm getting my bag out of the car and it's going next door. And like as we're there, we can hear it. And it's like, will you come inside? No, we won't. No, we won't. You know, it's like got all this creaking and stuff. And then we go in and we get our room and they're like, go upstairs to the third floor, go down the hall. Guess what's right next to our room?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going in our hotel room and we can hear.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, we're going to get another room. We're out.
Bye.
We're out. I went down to the desk. I was like, I'm sorry, sir. You're going to have to move us. And he's like, I don't have another room. I was like, you're going to have to switch somebody else's room for tomorrow. I'm not staying there. I'm not staying where the devil lives. No, we're out. That's it.
You seriously said that? I'm not staying with the devil.
I told him, I said, I'm not going to stay there and listen to some creepy guy laugh all night long. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
But
He's
you
like,
were on the show with Justin, isn't that the same thing? Oh, I'm kidding.
He says this was legit his answer. He said, well, they turn it off at midnight. I was like, okay, well.
I don't believe you.
They did because I had to stay in that room. Hey, we've got some questions for the community from you. The first one comes. I'm gonna say this on the show. I really don't even want to ask this question. Okay, I don't want to even ask.
Here, I'll ask it for you.
No,
I'll ask it.
No, I might be able. Yeah, I think I could make the words come out of my mouth. It says this. I have to. This is from Chris HL 94. You can probably know where this is coming. He says, I have to ask Jacqueline what her position is on. Hold on. What is her position on NHL 94 and why is it the greatest game of all time?
You leave our NHL 94 game alone, Marty.
So I saw this pop up in Discord and I was like, all right, kids, settle down. I got this. Look here. So with NHL 94, I know it's a very sensitive subject because you had one for Sega Genesis and you had one for Super Nintendo. For some reason, me and Sega Genesis never got along as a kid. I always played everything on Super Nintendo. And also, please keep in mind, I'm a New York born. Well, yeah, but keep in mind, I'm a New York born Puerto Rican woman, and we were a New York Rangers household. 93, 94 was the season that Messier and such won the Stanley Cup. So me being the little rebel that I am, playing the Philadelphia Flyers in NHL 94 because of the Broad Street Bullies influence, I was considered a traitor in my own house. So it's the best game ever. I understand the argument, and you could actually feel what the players were doing at the time, as crazy as it sounds, because Super Nintendo is such... I mean, look how far Nintendo has come over the years with EA Sports and all the different games that they've come out with. But how the players moved, and better yet, if you threw a guy into your team's bench, your team held him down for a few minutes. It took a while to get him back up. So there were certain moments in that game that made you feel like you were there. You were with the players. So look here, NHL 94 kid, I got you. Okay.
Can I just
I think he's probably sitting there with his jaw to the floor, his chin to the floor.
You just made this the best episode of Nintendo Dads ever for Chris.
Yes.
All right. There will never be another episode of Nintendo Dads.
He's going to be counting the days for when you come back on the show.
That's right. That's right. Also, Solo wants to know what led this is a whole series of questions. So here we go. What led you to get these two? Yeah. What led you to get into gaming? And what are your 3 most cherished games? And lastly, do you enjoy more single player based story games, or do you drift more to games that need you to group up for the intended experience?
Okay, I will take this one step at a time. So the first one was what got me into gaming.
Yep.
I am a dork. I was born one. I'm going to die one. I want to be in a world where I could be a hero. I can be a villain. I could be Deadpool if I wanted. I could be a robot if I wanted. I can control the story. That's what got me into gaming. And I will never stop. So there's that. What is the next one?
What are 3 of your most cherished games? In other words, like a top 3. What comes to mind?
Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Yoshi's Island. Now, when you lose the kid and the kid starts screaming his head off and that countdown clock goes off, I'm like, all right, this is why I don't have any children. That. And Luigi's Mansion 3. That always has a special place in my heart.
So good.
It's a good list.
I was actually thinking the other day, I was like, I've not played Luigi's Mansion 3 since it first came out. Like I plowed through it in about a week, and I really need to go back and play that. So,
well, Jacqueline, tell them why. Yeah, exactly, Marty. It's like you Jacqueline, you said you were playing Luigi's Mansion 3 again because
that's a tradition for me, like leading up to Halloween. It's just a lot of fun. I know where everything is. I've gotten everything, I don't know how many times, but like it's still fun. And I love the Polter Pups. And if you remember the last time I was here, I had the question of if you could team up with any food company to make a Nintendo-based food item, what would it be? And my answer was Luigi's Mansion 3. You can make Polter Pup cake pops. You can have Luigi green frappuccinos. And Justin was like salivating at the mouth as I said it last time I was here.
And if you teamed up with Starbucks, you for October, you could have Polter Pup cups.
Yeah, that's what I said. Polter Pup cake pops, I think, is what I said.
Yeah, but I'm just like, they give the dog, they'll like give a dog whipped cream and call it a pup cup.
Puppuccino.
Yeah. Polter Puppuccino.
There you go.
That would be adorable.
I love it. His last question was, do you like more single player games or group games?
Well, all right. There's a reason why I have to answer it this way. The last time I ever played co-op with somebody, and this shows my age, was Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for PlayStation 3. I had 3 characters, all female. I led with Morrigan. The person I was with had all 3 male characters, Deadpool, Devil May Cry, and one other. And I whooped his butt. And instead of admitting defeat like a man, this person who I was dating at the time, 11, 12 years ago, turns around to the TV and starts talking to the characters. Are you guys all right? Are you guys okay? And I'm like, Who are you talking to? He won't talk to me. The girl that kicked his butt, he's talking to his TV. And I'm just like, okay, that's it. No more co-op. I can't play games with boys anymore. This is what's going to happen.
Okay. I like it.
I play single player.
Yeah.
You learn, well, it's a good way to learn a lot about whoever you're, going to be with,
Yeah, that one didn't work out. That was so long ago. Oh my God.
Play video games together.
Yes.
It's couples therapy. Last question.
Someone is real quick.
Last question for you. Again, a multi-part question, but we'll start. I won't throw them all at you at once. I'm just going to throw the first one. Just a simple question here. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Strong with the Force, I am. Yes.
Yes. Bruce wants to know this. He also would like to know, have you played any Star Wars games on a Nintendo console in the past?
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this. The last
Nope.
Star Wars game I played was the last saga, the complete saga on PlayStation 3.
Okay.
Oh, the Lego
The
game.
Lego ones.
Those are my wife's favorite games. She'll play Lego games with me. She won't play anything
I love
else.
Lego games.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Nothing wrong with those. Those work too.
So yeah, and he said you answered his third question. So if not on Nintendo, on what console? PlayStation 3. There you go.
Mhm.
Okay, so we gotta get you up to speed. You need to get that new Lego Star Wars game that came out last year. It's fantastic. It's reimagines all of those old trilogy games and adds new things to them. And I mean, it's like rebuilt, redone, brand new games.
Okay.
And if you like collecting Korok seeds, here we have Kyber bricks.
There's too many.
Or yeah, Kyber bricks. There's like 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah, we just gave up eventually.
Ebicel was the one who got them all to win that prize for that one.
Wow.
Yep, he did. He did. Jacqueline, if people would like to follow along with you on social media or anything like that, where can they go to find you in the big world out there?
Instagram is probably going to be your best bet. I don't really do videos all that much. So at Jacqueline Amira, all lowercase letters all together. I try to keep the content positive. I'm well behaved most of the time. And when I'm not, my girlfriends are there to put me in check.
Okay, good deal. We're going to come back to you here in a little bit for our brand new segment, which also has a new name, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But I want to shift over here to Justin and let him navel gaze for a little bit and talk about his experience at Nintendo Live. Boots on the ground, by the way, over there, did a fantastic job bringing us there. Like we were right there. Along with your family. I'm particularly interested in not just your experience, but how was it being there with your family? Too, like, I mean, you could talk about the other things you did later on, but I mean, just specifically for Nintendo Live and PAX West, being there with your family and your experience as well. How was it?
Yeah, maybe I'll kind of run down just where I was with everyone, and then we can talk about the framing of that. So on Thursday, we flew in the entire family, got there nice and early. I went over to get my media pass for PAX West because I had an all weekend media pass, and I was going to go Friday for PAX West. So Friday, I hit the street nice and early. Adam Leonard from NINDADS was staying at our hotel. So him and I, the Thursday night beforehand, sat up and drank for about 2.5 to 3 hours, which is awesome. I've got an expense report I have to approve later. And kept moving. And so the next morning, we got to PAX, hit the show floor early because the media access gets you early. So I did a full 9 to 5 at PAX. And then at about 5:30, we met up, and then we walked 2 kilometers to another private event known as The Mix, which was hosted by the Indie Exchange Group. And it was a smaller, it was all indie games, 2 floors, super intimate, smaller group of content creators. I think there's about 20 members of the press there. And you got to see games in various states. They also fed us tacos and beers, so you had me at that. And so I was there for about 3 hours, went back to my hotel Friday night, and then Saturday, bright and early, me and my two daughters, Rylan and Morgan, headed right over to the Nintendo Live event that kicked off at 10 o'clock, and we were there from 10 to 5 o'clock. And it was going with, and so my wife stayed at the hotel for that. She had a morning spa date and relaxed, and so I took the kiddos and we did that. And getting to experience it with my girls was pretty amazing. Was really awesome. They are also gamers, and they love playing games together. I think they also love that quality time together. And so we had some just amazing opportunities to sit down and listen to the concerts that were being shown there. We got hands-on with Mario Wonder twice, actually. One of the first things we went and did was the big Animal Crossing photo shoot booth that they had set up, which was really incredible because my youngest daughter really loves Animal Crossing, so that was super special to her. So it was just an absolute tremendous experience. Like I said, there for about 7 hours, but I will tell you, it felt like I was there for about 2, if that makes sense. Like when you're enjoying yourself and it's so cool, time just goes so quick. That was sort of how that felt. Where I would say for PAX West, it was a still amazing experience. PAX West, by 5 o'clock, like I was like, I'm tired. My feet hurt. I'm thinking it's time to start wrapping up, but it was a really amazing experience. I will say, the experience that I got from Nintendo Live was different than I think what you may see from other people who went maybe as a participant. We were fortunate enough that we worked with Nintendo, and we actually have a PR rep who works with us. So we got a very, I think I would say, curated experience, right? So we didn't have to wait in lines in the same way. We got there, we checked in. One of the PR reps, like literally toured us and walked us to where we needed to kind of be and showed us this kind of stuff. There was a private section for media to go sit for the concert. So we got to sit down and listen to concerts together. We then later got kind of private tours of the event, and at times was kind of given a VIP experience and was put in front of lines for some activities, which was kind of crazy. I didn't expect that. And so it was just a really tremendous experience and opportunity. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And it was, you could tell at the Nintendo event, and my intention was to try and take a lot of photos, but also be present to share with you kind of like the insight of what that looked like and what that was. It was the best way I could, like a love letter to Nintendo fans was what it was. The joy that you saw from everybody, all of the Nintendo employees working were so joyful, were so like excited for you to be there. It reminds me of like going to Disneyland, right? Every Disneyland employee is on, right? They want to make that special for you, that moment special. And in some ways, I think that was it. That was kind of the marching orders given to them by Nintendo, is this needs to be special for every single person that shows up here. And it definitely felt that way. It felt, like I said, the staff were incredible. If you saw any of the photos of like me and like my girls, there's no selfies, right? I'm not doing selfies. You would show up at a photo area and it's a Nintendo employee who's like, I'll take your phone and I will take like a dozen photos for you. Click, 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 click. There you go. Next spot. Click, 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 click. And they're using different techniques and different lightings and trying to move to really make you capture those moments. It was really, really incredible. It was really special. It was so cool. It was funny. My wife had said, she's like, could you go back and do more? I think you could do more for sure. Like I could have spent the entire weekend there, but at the same time, there are other things to do. But what I got out of it was just, it was awesome. It was so amazing. The Mario Wonder. So we didn't know Mario Wonder was going to be there at all. We didn't know. I mean, obviously the direct was on Thursday. Friday, I was in PAX trying out some games, and I'm looking at my phone, and there's a tweet from Nintendo, and Doug Bowser's on the floor, Mario Wonder's on the floor, Eiji Aonuma's there, or not Eiji, sorry, the not Zelda, the producer for Mario Wonder, and I was like, of course it's there. Mario Wonder was probably the biggest booth, give or take, in regards to like hands-on space. They had, I would estimate, over 50 play station or like playing stations that you get onto, right? So games, screens attached. So it was also like the quickest line ever, because every setup you were having like up to 4 people play. So you were whipping through like 200 people in less than 15 minutes. And so, yeah, you got on very, very quickly to play, and it was awesome. And so the first time we played was with 4 players, and the second time was with 2 players. So it was really, really incredible. It was special. It was such a joy to experience with my children. Was such a joy. My youngest wasn't feeling well, so I actually brought her back to the hotel, and my oldest and I stuck around for longer. And at the end, like, she was like, let's do this and let's keep doing this, and I want to go do this. And just some really, really unique experiences. And I will sort of be honest, like, I think as our PR rep, and again, the wonderful folks over at Nintendo who helped us as our PR firm, kind of gave a little bit of a white glove kind of VIP feeling at times. So so I think she kind of enjoyed that kind of like feeling super special, and kind of like, rolling around with her Nintendo daughter shirt that we had built for her as well. And that was pretty special. So I'll take a pause there.
Can we ask about those shirts?
Yeah.
Like, did you do those, or how did you get those?
So the if you go on our social media page, I was like, it's an exclusive Nintendo Live merch drop, a limited edition, 3 shirts. So what had happened is we wanted to get shirts made, and I wanted the Nintendo Dad's crest. It's not available on Redbubble anymore, and so I was like, what am I going to do? And so we have a friend who makes t-shirts, and so I sent them our logo. And then I said, could you press this on a shirt, and could you also press Nintendo Dad and Nintendo Daughters on the back of the shirts? So we had 3 shirts made. Mine said Nintendo Dad across the back, and both my girls had Nintendo Daughters across the back of theirs, which was super cool, because there was a room. One of the setups they had at Nintendo Live is it was like a retro room. It was built like a 1980s basement, right? I mean, TV guides across the table, huge, like the old wood cabinet TVs that we all sat with. The furniture looks straight out of the 80s, right? Like, you were like, oh man, I'm definitely turning on like Who's the Boss right now, and I need to go grab my juice box. Like, it was that sort of energy. And so we're in line to kind of do a little photo shoot with it, because it's super cool. And as we're going up, these folks walk over and they're like, hi, we're with Nintendo's social media team, and we're getting footage for our like daily reels, because we do a video every day. Would you guys be okay to being in it during this? We're like, oh yeah, for sure. So there's like, sit there and be natural and have a laugh and point. So we're having photos taken, and then the media team is recording us as well, and they're recording us from behind. And then I hear them say, they're like, holy cow, look at the back of those t-shirts, those are amazing. And so they're like, they're moving plants to make sure they had a clean shot of the Nintendo Dad, Nintendo Daughter moments. And then my daughter, who's 15, was like, so are we going to be in the video? And I was like, possibly. And they're like, well, where's it going to go? I was like, on Nintendo of America's social media account that has how many million followers? And so as a kid who's super into social media, she was like, this is incredible. Right. And so when she got back to the hotel, she's like, I'm going to be on the social media page.
Right.
We didn't make the cut. We did not make the cut. So it was I think she was sort of heartbroken. But if you go and check out our page, our Twitter page, you can see the photo set I have there, and you can actually see them shooting around us as well for the media. So
I like the image that you got or they got for you of you two in front of the TV with those shirts on, and they got, Nintendo Dad and Nintendo Daughter playing Super Mario. So that was pretty cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Pause here. Idea. I think we need to do those shirts as merch. For our page, like have the Nintendo Dad, Nintendo Daughter, Nintendo Mom, Nintendo Son type thing, some version of that. I think those are really cool. I think you're on to something there. We've got a few questions from the community I want to throw your way, because I think that you might have already talked a little bit about these, but I think that maybe not. Frosticles 43. Justin, what was your high point and low point for PAX West, the Mix Nintendo Live? Oh. So let's say, what was your high point?
My high point would be playing Mario Wonder. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty incredible. I have to give you a couple of them, right? So playing Mario Wonder was so cool. Prince of Persia, I got my hands on. That was super awesome to play. Sitting down for the orchestra, they did Legend of Zelda for 45 minutes music. The orchestra did that, and they did a big band of Super Mario, which was super incredible and awesome. And my kids are more fans of Mario than Zelda, so that was super awesome for them. And then like 3.5, we are going to be putting out a bonus episode after this episode, which is they actually let me sit down with the VP of consumer marketing for Nintendo, and I got a 15-minute interview with him. And that was a very cool opportunity to talk business with business. And so I was so excited about that. That was a really cool, really amazing opportunity. So that was a huge high. The low points, I would say, for everything that Nintendo did, super, super amazing. Lines were definitely an issue in some areas. You had the opportunity to make your own like Lego Yoshi and keep it, but that line was like an hour and a half to stand in line to do that. And so we're like, we're not doing that. They had the Nintendo pop-up store, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to grab some sweet gear. I was excited for it. And I go to stand in line in there, and I was like, awesome, starts right here. And the guy's like, oh no, it doesn't start here. I was like, well, this is the end of the line. They're like, no. This is the end of the line in here. The line starts out there. And I was like, what do you mean out there? And he's pointing outside the building. And I was like, what? So I go and I open the door, and there is like a lineup of like 6, snake row lines of these folks who are waiting in line for this merch shop. And I was like, what's the estimate on this? And they're like, 2 hours. 2 hours. And I was like, nope, ain't got time for that.
Wow.
So you remember how Justin, like when the pop-up shop came up, I ordered stuff and sent it to Jesse, and I was like, just in case they sell out. That's exactly what happened. Is I'm like, Jesse, when that stuff arrives there, you're just shipping it directly to Canada, because I did not get any of the merch that I sort of wanted, because the lineup was, I could not spend 2 hours doing that.
Yeah.
So, and that's not just Nintendo as well. Like any of these conferences you go to, you stand in line a lot, waiting for things. And so that would be one of the challenges, but everything else was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Sean Abbott says, what did you eat while you were out there? Not much poutine and Guinness in that area of the world.
No, I did have a lot of beer. I will be honest with you. I had a fair amount of drinks. People at the mix were like, I went with Adam Letter, and Adam's like, I don't drink beer. Well, they gave us beer tickets. So he's like, have my beer ticket. And someone else like, I don't drink beer. Here's my beer tickets. I was like, I'm drinking cans all night. All right, I'm happy with this. There was a bagel shop in our hotel that was like made like these like high gourmet breakfast bagels with like, it was super good. So I had that a couple times of the week. And there was an amazing pizza place right across the street. And so pizza and bagels, and I lived on that and beer and coffee essentially for several days. So it was a good experience.
I love the way you say bagels.
Bagels? What about bagels? Okay.
Bagels? Yeah,
Bagels?
They're not bagels, they're bagels.
Bagels.
Beer. Speaking of beer Cerveza says, what was your best swag grab at PAX West?
I'm going to have to say my best swag grab was from the fine folks over at Nintendo. So this keychain, as I mentioned before, this right here, this was for playing Mario Wonder. You got that. But every single individual who was at Nintendo got a Nintendo Live kind of tote bag, kind of a high quality, very durable bag. And then inside that was a set of 3 pins, and there are 3 different pin sets. I think this is from the Mario 35 anniversary. But then the super cool thing that was in there was, and the guys hate me for this one, a Mario gold coin, and the very back of it says Nintendo Live 2023
Nice.
Seattle.
Nice.
That was the coolest swag bag for sure. They also had like free posters to get, so I got like some big Nintendo Live posters that we can see there of kind of like some of the games that they had on display that they were so yeah, those were pretty cool. Those were free as well. There's another one, that one's upside down. Right. Yeah.
Nice.
So there was a lot of that kind of gear. So Nintendo did very well by stuff.
Okay, good. Spider Shan, last question here. Did Nintendo Live meet your expectations?
Yes, and exceeded them. Yeah. 100%.
Okay, so in that, did you get a sense that this might start happening more regularly, or is this one and done?
So I will say, Spider Shan, that is a fantastic question. And that was a question that I asked Jim from Consumer Marketing. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to listen to our bonus episode to find out.
Oh, I love it. But hey, so to kind of answer that question, I would love to hear what he has to say. But also, I mean, they are having it in Tokyo next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So it has been announced already for Tokyo. And so my question was, and I'll a little bit of a lead on this one, because I think you should still listen to the interview because the interview is really, really cool. This is the first year it's in North America. His statement was, we are going to focus on getting through this weekend first before we talk about what the next step is. But yes, it has been announced for 2024 over Tokyo. Continuing to evaluate our options and what that looks like for us. I think it was so intelligent for them to do it. It was absolutely brilliant. So
yeah, definitely what you piggyback on what you're saying. There is more to what he said about that too, which is very valuable. So definitely listen to that interview for that as to why he couldn't answer that.
Yeah.
And
the interview was super cool. Jim was amazing. It was such a great opportunity. I was so happy with that. Couple of things I knew we're going to step out of this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marty.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say a couple of things I do want to just kind of throw out there. I played some other games when I was at PAX West that maybe I'll just mention in case anyone has any questions about, or at least I provide like, hey, I think these should be games that are on your radar. Prince of Persia Lost Crown or whatever that's coming out in January. That great game's incredible. That game feels really, really great. It is a solid Metroidvania game. Combat is
so
awesome.
Looking forward to that.
For
sure.
Yep, Tim. I was like, this is Tim's game. Yep. I am 100% in on this one. I actually wrote down what were all the games that I ended up playing. So bear with me 1 second here. I apologize. What else did I play? Pepper Grinder. That's Devolver Digital coming out.
Yes, that's right.
That was good.
That's next year.
It controlled a little bit. I had difficulty with it. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like just controlling it, moving it around, and then boosting at the right time. I struggled a little bit with that one. And I don't know if my brain was just not comprehending properly, but I definitely struggled a bit with that. But I think it's worth, if they put out a demo, I think it'll be great. Gunbrella, we talked about. Fantastic. 30XX, Marty, you already have that game up for review, but I actually met with the developer and had a great conversation with him, which was fantastic. Fae Farm, if you're looking for another cozy Animal Crossing Stardew Valley game, Fae Farm is your game. They had a massive set at PAX, and the game is out, I think, tomorrow. We've got an early review copy. It's already up on our site. I played it and I was like, this is a game my youngest daughter Morgan is going to 100% enjoy. We got the code, I redeemed it, I did an hour of it, and then I just handed it over to her and I was like, here, play it, let me know what you think. She's like 5 hours into the game now, and she started playing yesterday. Like, she's not putting it down. As a matter of fact, the Switch was dead yesterday because she just played it straight. So check out Fae Farm, cozy game that you should definitely check out. Another Crab's Treasure. This is a Dark Souls game where you play as a crab at the bottom of the ocean, and your shell that you pick up is like garbage in the bottom of the ocean, and that becomes your armor and your kit. It sounds super crazy, but I'm going to tell you, it is a really fun, cool game. Anton Blast is a Wario-like game, or WarioWare game. What was the Wario game on like the Game Boy where you move back and forth? You should check that game out.
Wario Land.
Wario Land, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't enjoy it as much. I actually watched Adam play it later, and I was like, okay, I get it. What's going on now? Infernax, that's game is already out, but they just did a massive update. That is a Castlevania and Zelda 2S game. It's out now. I would highly, highly recommend it. Super cool. Feels like a game built perfectly in the 80s. Mr. Marty Estes. I played Doc, we got to go back to the Future's Power Wash Simulator, where I got to power wash the DeLorean. And let me tell you, that was a real journey. That was great. I loved every moment of that. And then I also played Star Ocean, the Second Story R. So those are all fantastic games. Like, all those games I mentioned there are really, really good, and I think you should check out every single one of them. Yeah, it was an incredible experience. I loved every moment of it. Thank you to our community for supporting us to enable us to be able to do this. Our hotel was literally a block away from the site, which was amazing, perfect for me and my family to move around. I ended up bumping into, like I say, I had spent a lot of time with Adam Leonard. I bumped into our good friend Roger's Base and spent some time with him. Bumped into OJ Essence, N64 Josh, Andre from Game Explain, like a bunch of our content creator friends that are on that coast. Got to hang out with them, got to just meet them more. It was such a honor and privilege. And so thank you for your continued support to allow us the ability to do something like this. I am so thankful for you. I hope that you feel like you got to see a piece of that. I hope that I provided you content, coverage, photos to satisfy sort of not being able to be there, but I could be those eyes and ears for you. I will also say I went to the Reggie Fils-Aimé keynote, and that was super, super cool.
Awesome. Great rundown. With that, let's talk about a big fat rumor. All right, folks, it's back again. This is like the zombie we can't kill, but there may be a little bit more to it this time. Gamescom has come and gone, and rumors are now beginning to leak for that the Switch successor was shown to select developers and media off floor at Gamescom. This actually comes from Centro Leaks, who has been pretty reliable in the past. I mean, there's been several things that have come across on Centro Leaks' Twitter account that have been proven. And so we're just going to run down these and yeah. So you can go find these tweets. They're out there right now. Centro Leaks reports that dev kits have been around for a while, that the successor will be backwards compatible with a new cartridge format and a new camera feature, and that Final Fantasy VII Remake was up and running on the dev kit, looking like a PS5 game. Also, earlier today, they reported that Eurogamer and VGC, who also added a little bit of fuel to these rumors, were both reporting, or all three of these folks are reporting that demos were shown to developers. One demo was an enhanced version of Breath of the Wild with higher frame rate and resolution. And another demo was the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 demo, the one that was out on PlayStation 5 last year, using the NVIDIA DLSS and ray tracing. And this is in line with what we're hearing from some other sites as well about the ability to do ray tracing and PS5, Xbox Series S quality. What do you guys think? I mean, we've speculated so much. I mean, it feels like 4 years of rumors or more, about this supposed Super Switch or whatever. What do you think?
It makes sense. Right. There are absolutely closed door meetings at places like Gamescom, EGX, E3, all those type of things to promote developer kits, right? Like this would be the timing that developers would have it and that Nintendo would be showing it. So I don't think there's anything here that's shocking. I think the things that we are all more interesting about is, so it's able to do something like Final Fantasy VII, right? Or run that Matrix, right? So that implies the power in the processor is much higher than what we were anticipating, right? I think we've always kind of thought it would always be like just a little step up, not a big step up. That's a considerable step up. Mm-hmm. I think hearing rumors like we continue to hear backwards compatibility continues to be a thing. That's great. Second slot for the new Switch cartridge. I think we've all speculated that, kind of using that whole 3DS DS kind of model sort of ends up making sense. The webcam or the camera part is sort of that's got my eyebrow up a little bit. Like, I don't know if I like that idea. But this logically makes sense. If the rumors are true that we are expecting a launch of it next year, you would expect dev kits to be in the wild now, and you would also expect Nintendo to be getting publishers and developers on side to say, this is why you should begin to think about getting your games ported. This is why at launch Would you like to have Final Fantasy VII Remake at launch on the Nintendo Switch? Doesn't that or the new Super Switch? Doesn't that sound like a great idea? Well, of course, we're going to be having those conversations. That's where those conversations have to occur.
And let's be honest, if E3 is dead and stays dead, where are they going to have those conversations? It's going to be at TGC. It's going to be at Gamescom. It's going to be at, Tokyo. Other game shows, right? They're going to have time for people to see these where they're not doing their own event. And who knows what happened at PAX that hasn't come out yet. With Nintendo Live being right there. I mean, I will readily admit that I was wrong that, the successor was not shown off at Nintendo Live. I thought that's the whole reason they would do something like that, but it could have been, hey, we're here to celebrate Nintendo. And while y'all are all over at PAX, come in this back room and we got something to show you.
And is it possible that those occurred? 100% it's possible. And again, not that we were
just
invited
don't
to
know.
have
We're speculating.
any conversations, speculating. But I mean, I think that I do think until we see anything, we have to take everything with a grain of salt. We have to take everything with a rumor, because everybody who says like, oh, I've seen it, or I've heard it, or this is what I'm being told, that becomes clickbait, right? That becomes a traction back to their site. And so when you have something as popular as Switch rumors, that's going to just draw traction somewhere else. And I'm not saying that people are doing it to clickbait, but I am saying like we just have to be sort of like possible, but like let's not put our weight on things, right? Too much.
Yeah, I think that, at least with the Switch going from Wii U to Switch, we had that confirmation, right? That the Nintendo NX is being worked on. Like there was that, it's coming. Something is being, we don't have that this time. We just got, we've got hopes and good intentions.
Well,
we know it's being worked on, but like we don't have that official company.
Sure, we don't have a and I think at that point, when you look at the Wii U to the Switch, Nintendo was desperate to say, we have a different idea. We have something different. It's okay. Like, let's take a little bit of an L right now. So we're going to get in front of it as quick as possible and say, we've got this thing. It's called the NX. It's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, because that NX quote unquote announcement wasn't to the public. It was to the investors saying, don't give up on us yet. We got something coming.
That's exactly it. Guess what? You're now the third best selling console of all times. You are in no hurry to tell people that there's a new platform coming, because then guess what? They don't buy the 3 consoles that they're putting out on October 6th, right? Like
four consoles.
4 consoles. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, good deal. Well, we'll keep you updated. Definitely check out if you're wanting. Yes, Tim.
I'm curious, Jacqueline, what do you want out of your second Switch, the future Switch?
Good question.
Make it in pink.
All right. Pink it is.
Backwards compatible is great.
Princess Peach version, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
The backwards compatibility is the big thing for me. I think if as long as NSO works and there's backwards compatibility, I'm good. Right? Just keep building on what works. I'm
wondering if these other games from third parties that have been announced but not for Switch might be coming to Switch successor, say Persona 3 Remake.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, if it's up and running on the Switch, opens the door for a huge amount of content there that's not on Switch right now, or doesn't run good on Switch.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep all these things with that grain of salt, right? Because them saying that is exciting for me to see what Nintendo will do to bring to the portable realm that's more powerful. And if it truly can run these things at a low PS5 setting, that's something else portably. And it makes sense too, because it's like, okay, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If that's what they're thinking, we can build on a Switch successor and make it more powerful rather than a new gimmick. Yes, there could be a new gimmick, but they've also said before they're not about the power game either. So that's That's the conflict, right?
Tim, yeah, that's the tension I feel there, right? Nintendo has stepped out of the graphical arms race a long time ago and decided to move into more innovation, right? And picked a different swim lane, right? And I think they do that very well. So for them to say like, and we are now stepping back into this arms race, puts them in a place that they may not want to be in regards to comparison, right?
But that gimmick is still there, though. The Switch, or the hybrid portability. Can it do what you need it to do without it failing or overheating or whatever with this new DLSS type stuff? So yes, maybe it is more powerful, but not because it's using AI. It's helping to make it look powerful.
But I think that they're at an interesting point right now because they've done so well with Switch, right? And it's been able to keep up for the most part. But we're coming to a place with third-party games, especially where if you're going to want those third parties on your console, you're going to have to be able to support them without a lesser version.
And that's the kicker, right? Is like, yes, they've said we don't want to do the power game, but they got to a point where they were successful. What's the next logical thing to do? Well, let's talk to our developers, first party and third party. What do you want? We need more power, we need more RAM, whatever the case may be. And they try to give that to them, but at the same time be affordable and storage, but be affordable, So that's where it's like, it's exciting to me. I am so excited. It's going to be so much fun to see what they come out with. Yes, there'll be some disappointment, I'm sure. Will I be bummed if it's not as powerful as this? Probably, but I can't wait to see what they're going to do, and I'm going to be excited for it.
Just think about this, Tim. Here's what you can be excited about. It's going to be more powerful than the current Switch you have.
Yes.
There you go. We know that.
We hope so, because we don't want them to be like, let's put two of these processors together. We're
going back to the
GameCube to Wii.
We're going back to 16-bit days, guys. All right. Well, let's talk about some events really quick. And before we talk about events, I just have to ask, Tim, how do you like your barbecue?
I've been wanting to try some Kansas City barbecue,
well, guess what? You're going to get a chance. You're going to get a chance because your Detroit Lions finished the game 1 point ahead of the Kansas City.
They pulled it out. They held Kansas City to not score.
21-20.
I at like a minute and a half left, the Chiefs tried a 4th and 25, not a Hail Mary, but just get it, try to get that first down. Because if they knew they gave up possession, they were not getting it back, and it didn't work. And
there you go. Back. And what we can do from this is the event can be that Tim can do a video review of his barbecue when he gets it. So there you go.
There you go.
Speaking of other events, the table is coming up the third Friday of the month. And that is when our community gets together to discuss whenever. It's also known as a Discord voice chat room. So it's not some big crazy event or anything like that. But if you want to join in, you got to be a Patreon or Twitch Prime subscriber to get access to the Discord. And that also gets you in on a whole host of events like Monthly Mayhem and as well as being able to follow along with Retro Rewind. Right now, Dads After Dark are doing some really cool things. You can submit an Apple review for them and be eligible for one of two $10 eShop cards. In October, there's the 3rd annual Halloween Mayhem. November is another Monthly Mayhem announcement. December will be the 2nd annual Presents After Dark, which is our Secret Santa for our community. And then January, the Chubbies bracket round 2 will help you shed some of those holiday pounds. Right now on Retro Rewind, we're playing Metroid Fusion, and you can check that out later on by checking out the episode of On Topic Retro about Metroid Fusion. And also you can submit your fastest completion time by the 18th of this month to win a $10 eShop card of your choice. And that episode of On Topic Retro about Metroid Fusion will be recorded on the 19th. You can DM DatFast over on our Patreon or over on our Discord to share your memories about Metroid Fusion, which is one of the finest Metroid games of all time. Well, now that we've talked about our events, over the last few weeks, we have introduced a new segment here that we called Jesse's Minute, and then it kind of morphed into everybody sharing their minute. But we've decided to rename the segment on this week's show. So it's time to go to Timeout.
Uh-oh.
And, whenever we do these segments, we always go to our guest first. And this, just the idea of this segment is we can share something, whatever is on our mind that's not Nintendo related, because people do apparently like to hear about those things. And so, Jacqueline, we go to you first. What is your minute? Or what is your, I don't know, what are we going to call it now? Let's sit down in the timeout chair.
We're taking a timeout to talk about.
Well,
yeah, there we go. Timeout.
Talk about what we need to talk about. We need to help Jack. We need to help Jackie out here.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. You guys are my family for a while now. I've been a producer with you guys since December. I have been recently single for the last few months. Things don't always work the way you want them to. My former and I are grown-ups, and we have a lot of respect for one another. We didn't do anything social media wise because we're adults. Things don't work. It's okay. And prior to me telling you guys this today, I didn't do or say anything. However, my DMs have blown up, and Jackie is bad, like Milli Vanilli, Menudo bad, does not know how to handle this because my radar for these sort of things is really bad. It's off. Like DMs, flirting, nuances, what to say, what not to say. What do you do? It's like double dutch. Do I get in? Do I get out? I don't want to jump in and then trip up over the rope and hurt myself. You give out your number. When do they call? There's so many unknowns, and I'm turning 40 and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to handle this? I'm trying, taking it one day at a time.
So what you're asking for is in our Discord, I need to create a singles area so that a singles mingle area.
I don't know how to handle these things, and I'm sure I've gotten things wrong at least once or twice. Ralph can wreck it, Jackie can ruin it. That much is clear. I may not always say the right thing. I don't intend to, but you don't know when someone jumps into your DMs who's sincere and who isn't. Who only wants one thing. And I'm going to keep this clean. I know it's a family show. Los niños. I don't, this is completely unfamiliar territory for me. Yep. And my girlfriends aren't much help because they want to see me happy.
Right.
And
I'll tell you.
Start showing.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, you start looking at people's profiles and you start asking questions, and the little angel and devil pop up on your shoulder. And I don't want to listen to any of them. I just want to figure out how to navigate all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you mentioned this to us, that this is what the topic was going to be, we were thinking, all right, well, all of us have been married for 10 years.
Yeah,
and
I
we
know.
haven't been I haven't been single-ish since I was 30. So I'm this might be a question for our this might be a question for our children.
Yeah, so I was, for some reason, my wife and I were actually talking about this the other day, and I was like, Aaron, if something ever happens to you, that's it for me. Because I somehow I tricked her into I tricked her into capturing her. It's like a Pokemon. I did something and I captured her, and now she's
you burned
there,
that master ball, huh?
And it's just yeah. It's just well, I guess this is where we are. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, if you die, I don't I'm 43 years old. I'm so set in. I wouldn't know how to date. I wouldn't know how to do any of that. In fact, I've got a friend who's kind of my age who's doing that right now. And I've been watching kind of his journey over the last year or so. And I will be honest with you. It's absolutely terrifying. It is like, I will just
That's
die.
why I said Milli Vanilli, Menudo. This is bad.
Yeah, like if she dies or something happens, like I'm just going to be that old man who just goes to Walmart and buys a bunch of TV dinners and comes home and watches Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud every night and just grumbles and complains all that. Like, I don't know.
And don't forget to play Mega Man every now and then too.
Yeah, like seriously, like I'm here to tell you that anything good in my life that happens, like if I do anything right or if I look halfway decent or whether it's all because of her. And so like I don't know what I would do. I don't. And so I don't want to do it. I refuse. Because from what I understand from like, well, even you talking about it, your experience, like what do I do? What is this? Is that dating in today's culture has just become some like nightmarish hellscape that you like somehow some people find their way through. I don't know.
So
Jack, part of me is like,
I guess here's the other thing I would say, Jacqueline, is like, what are you looking for?
Well, right now, I mean, so here's the thing. So like I said, I didn't mention anything about a breakup or anything like that up until tonight with my boys, the Nintendo dads, because I have photo shoots, I had the movie, I have the shows, I have a regular office job too, 40 plus hours, and I train 3 hours a day. So like getting back out there wasn't top on my priority list. But when the DMs started coming in at random, I was like, hey, how does this person know? Hey, how does this person know? Is there a disturbance in the force? Is there something in the water? Do I
They don't know. They don't care. If they want to try to talk to you, they're not going to care if you're hooked up or not already. They're going to try to hook up with you.
And I'm naive in a lot of things. I'm oblivious to certain things. I miss a lot. And like I said, I can get it wrong. Ralph can wreck it. Jackie can ruin it. Like that's a given. I can get things wrong a lot. I'm sure I already have. Like, it's just weird that I'm turning 40 in like 3 months and like all this is happening at the same time.
Yep. Well, Justin's right too by asking that question is, what do you want? And if you don't know what that is, then don't talk to anybody yet until you do know what you want.
Yeah. What's that wonderful statement by RuPaul, right? How, love yourself, or how are you supposed to love somebody else, right? Kind of idea.
Yeah.
But like maybe, and maybe the statement of to think about is like, do you want interactions via DMs? Right? Is that just because that's the way the male shows up to you, like, and I don't mean that as in the gender, but like male shows up doesn't mean that's the way you have to accept it. Right? What do you want? Right? Is for you, is it like, hey, you know what I would rather do is I would rather organically bump into somebody at a restaurant, at a pub, at a whatever that is, or have a friend hook me up with a friend that way, right? Like, to me, the idea of digital dating, I'm like Marty. Something happens to my wife, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not swiping left. I'm not swiping right. I ain't doing that.
Oh God.
Because I
don't do dating apps.
Because I believe in people. I believe in relationship. That's what fills my bucket. And because I'm going to be straight honest with you, I'm getting too old for this shit. Do you know what I mean? And so,
and that's what I'm approaching. I'm getting too old for this. I want to get wooed in romance.
So then here's my answer, Jacqueline. Here's my answer. Stop chatting in the DMs, right? Someone comes in your DM and they're looking for a little bit more. Be like, hey, you know what? I'm taken. And maybe you're not. Doesn't matter, right? If you're looking for something different, you're looking for people and relationship and connection, face to face. Maybe that's the way you have to go, right? You're looking to be wooed. Like, listen, you want to put some effort in? Don't type. Put some effort in. Show up. Let's go on a date. Let's go get some flowers. God, you're
speaking my language,
right?
Show
like
up.
anyone can type. Anyone can type and like, look at a picture I sent. I don't even know it's you. Don't catfish me. Show up. You want my time and you want my attention. Then we go for a date. We go for a drink. And by the way, you best be paying. Right? So that's how I would treat it. You show into my DMs and you send me a D pic or whatever, get out of here. Block. I'm done with you. I don't want any of that.
Right? Kind of what I said.
the other thing. I never.
You didn't, but I know men, and I know they're sleazeballs.
Every time that you get one of those pictures,
los niños.
every time if you get those pictures, you just need to send a picture of Toad back.
Yep.
You know what my wife has done, literally, she's done this when she has received such a picture. She puts googly eyes on it and then sends it to her friends.
Yeah. Or here's another fun one.
Sends it back.
There's a wonderful picture of me, Jacqueline, with my shirt off on the internet when we were doing Extra Life. Just screenshot that and just send it back. That's it. Like with no context.
There you go. No context. Just send it.
You're done.
Anyway, so when I joked saying that this is the question for our kids, after what Justin said got me thinking. Yeah, if you don't want to date the way the quote unquote the kids date, don't. If you your idea of a date from when you were last time you were single, if you have that as your standard and make sure that they are on the same length, because if they're
I was
trying
bad at it back then.
Right. Well, yeah. So was I, and I think we all ended up getting lucky.
And let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with like online connection and dating and like finding relationships. That's and Jesse, that's how you met, right? And this is how this community is formed. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But like,
I met my wife through a video game, EverQuest.
The point that I think you're trying to get to is that it happens naturally. It happens because you're not looking, or someone's not trying to knock down your door. It's more or less you're just happening naturally in the environments you're already in. Go to these photo shoots, to these emceeing events. Maybe not even those. Maybe you're just hanging out with your friends. It's all those type of things. It'll happen naturally, especially when you're not looking.
Yeah. I love that idea. Like this sort of statement of like, have you ever like lost something and you're like, and you're looking for it and you can't find it?
And when you're not looking for it, you find it.
But then you find it. And so maybe you don't look and you see what you
never
find.
Started technically.
Right. But you don't look and you see what you find naturally.
Yeah. And if you want to have fun with those people who are DMing, then by all means have fun with it.
Like I've given out my number once or twice, and like I don't know what the time limit is on calling or if a promise is made. Or
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No.
You are in control.
Yeah.
And
if you are in more control than you know you are.
And if you send them a number and you expect them to call you in like 3 days and they don't call you in 3 days, then done, son. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay, 3 days. Let me write that down.
No, don't write that down. I just don't write that down. I just picked a random number. But if you're like, if all of a sudden you're like, if they were interested, they would have called me. If that's what you're inside of your like, spidey senses tingling, then you're probably 100% right.
Justin's just thinking back to our Majora's Mask discussion earlier. 72 hours.
That's exactly it.
They have to call. Yeah. So like, I mean, I totally agree with Justin though in this situation. It's like you're He-Man in this situation. All right. Okay. You have the power. You have the power.
Yeah.
You have the power. I love it.
Now, for everyone else out there, if you're also looking for advice from 4 or 40-year-old men who have been out of the dating scene for probably 20 to 25 years each and have no advice of what it means to date digitally, call us. We'll definitely have shitty advice for you.
We have advice. Why not?
It's the same advice we probably give our own daughters or sons.
Yeah, that's right, Tim.
Or our own kids. I'll say.
Yeah. That's a good point, Tim.
Y'all, I don't like again.
It doesn't matter about it. It's all the same. It doesn't matter about whether it's digitally
That's it.
or in person. It's still the same. It's going to happen naturally when you.
It's insane to me. My wife and I have been married 21 years this year. It's insane to me that someone chooses to remain with me. And even decided to begin in the first place. Like, hey, I wake up every day and she's there, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're great, awesome, awesome, struck gold. Anyway,
that was a fun topic. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Absolutely. Jen,
I'm glad my life could amuse you right now.
We have many possible titles to choose from this conversation.
Oh, yes.
I
yes.
bet we do.
40-year-old dating gurus.
Marty,
anyway.
we were talking about dating. You should talk about your Playdate.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
What a
I have this little thing. Look, check this little thing out. This is a brand new. Well, it's not brand new. Some people have had it for a while. Tim has one of these too. It is a Playdate, and it is a video game system that allows you to download games. If you bought into this, you get the first season of games free, which means that when you open it up, you boot it up for the first time, it has 2 games on it, and then whatever day that you start on that day of the week, you get 2 more games each week for 12 weeks. So I'm up to let's see, so there's 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, I got it about a month ago. And so I got my games this week. But one of the cool things about this is it allows you to also buy games on their catalog, and it's all black and white. I don't know if you can see that there. It's it's not a backlit screen or anything, but very clear, not like the old Game Boy screens, an LCD or LED screen, or whatever. But you can also sideload games that people develop. Then you can either pay them for if they charge for them, or they give them out for free. So I have a version of Space Invaders on here. I have Dr. Panic, which is like Dr. Mario. I have Pac-Man. I've got Tetris even. But the unique thing about this console is not just the season delivery of games, is right here on the side. One of the ways that you control it is a crank. And some of the games actually use the crank to do certain things like zoom in your camera and focus it. Or there's one game and it's called Crankin's. What is this game called? It's like Crankin's Time Travel Adventures. And you actually wind and rewind the time each level to help this little tin robot guy get to his date on time. And the thing is he's supposed to be there, and he wakes up and he's late, and he gets there, and the little tin girl that he's supposed to meet kicks him in the balls or something and gets mad at him because he's late for the date. But this is literally as big as the system is. I mean, it's this is a magnetic case, but it's literally just this little square here. If you're watching, if you're not watching, it's about a 3-inch by 3-inch square, about a half an inch thick. And it's just a really neat little thing. I don't think there's any super groundbreaking things for it. Tim, you can speak to this too, because you have one. But it's just it's neat. I think that the developers and designers of this were we just want to get back to what makes video games fun. It doesn't have to be super powerful or graphics and sound and all that. Just make fun games and try some new ideas. Like the game that you start with. The two games you start with are called. Let me see here. It is. Whitewater Wipeout, which is a surfing game that uses the crank. You have to crank down to go down the wave and then come up to do tricks and stuff. And Casual Birder, which is a kind of a role-playing game about bird watching and taking pictures of birds, which I don't think that would really stand out or fly on any other system. But here it's you see what I did? I didn't even know I was doing it. But it's just a neat little gadget. I like gadgets, and this fits very nicely in my backpack. And I just carry it with me, and then I can pop it up and play it anytime.
My first question is, have you tried it with the Mirror app yet? And then I realized my real first question is, does the Mirror app have a Mac port? I don't know if it does.
I don't know that it does, but and I haven't tried that out. But now I'm going to go check while you talk about leather quiver repair.
Yes. So I've talked about the camping and the archery things that I've done in the past, and we found this older quiver in the garage that my wife bought from an event back in like 2017, 2018. And as soon as we brought it home, the dog didn't know the difference between a rawhide and rawhide, and gave this a good old chew. And we finally got around to trying to do a patchwork on it. Again, I'm showing this on screen so the audio people are going to be confused. But a friend of mine who, in addition to doing 14th and 15th century reenactment, also does 18th century reenactment with another group, so more like a cowboy era. He showed me how to do what he called a saddle stitch, which is a relatively simple stitch you do to combine two pieces of leather together. So I ended up, I killed my hand doing it because I didn't, but I did a hand sew around where the damage was. So now, other than now, we need to do something about straps, but at least in terms of the top of this thing, this will be a perfectly functional quiver. So if we can rig up something where I can attach it to my belt, then I'll have it hip mounted instead of what you traditionally see as back mounted, which really is not as historically accurate as people think it is. Most people had it on their belts.
Cool. Tim, tell us about Moonbeams.
Sure. I was going to talk about the Lions and the Chiefs, but no, I decided that I would not talk about that because I found out today that a project that my daughter and I were doing, an extension of Extra Life, actually, back in December in our local community, was we were volunteering for a project called Moonbeams. And that is a project where kids who are in Children's Hospital during the holidays, they have volunteers come, and during the set time, 2 days called Moonbeams, where the kids up in the hospital can come to the windows, shine flashlights with the lights off, and the people down on the ground floor outside shine flashlights back at them, cheering and yelling and, cheering them on, getting them through the holidays and singing Christmas songs or whatever. And just having a good old time. It was really cold, but one of the projects we were working on during that my daughter and I were volunteering was gathering the parents and children who were at the event to do the flashlight thing to come add pieces to an artwork piece to where it would then later become a mosaic that would be hung up in the Children's Hospital. And it's called Moonbeams. And so this piece of art has been finished, and I posted the link in our Discord in the Junk Drawer channel, I think. Actually, our Extra Life channel, talking about it and sharing the link of what it looks like. But basically, finally, the artist finished it off from what was left after all the parents and kids put pieces on there. The artist finished it, and it's basically showing, the hospital with the kids and the people doing the Moonbeam stuff with all these like broken pieces of like tile and glass and all that for this mosaic. So it's going to be in Grand Rapids during what they call their Art Prize Festival, where a bunch of artists get together and share their art for potential large prize, either to help them with their work or for a charity such as Extra Life. So that's what this artwork is up for, and people get to vote on it and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was really cool, and I shared that in our Discord and wanted to share it here, and I thought it was really cool. So
awesome. Thanks for
cool.
sharing that, Tim. In interest of time, we are going to skip what we've been playing this week and head straight for your questions. So let's go.
All right. So starting with the questions in our Discord, we got 450. What was the most emotionally satisfying boss fight you've beaten? For me, Harvey in Octopath 2. Without going into full-on spoiler territory, as a dad who only has a wife and daughter, That part of the story made me angry. I was so happy to beat him and follow Oswald in his pursuit of revenge. Pun very much intended. So for you all, what's the most emotionally satisfying boss fight you had? Especially when you beat them.
I had two answers.
All right, Jesse.
The first one was when I beat Dark Link and Zelda 2, back on the NES before we had save states and rewinds. I just remember, and this is before I knew about the cheese technique. So like this was like legitimate fighting this character the way it was meant to be played. I remember my hands were literally shaking this bad trying to fight him, I was exhausted when I finally did, but it was fun. And then the other one would be Final Fantasy VI defeating Kefka. Is just, he was like the best and the worst antagonist a game could have, and it was just, when I finally got him down, it was like, yes.
Okay.
Anybody else get anything?
Sephiroth. Final Fantasy VII. Either Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII or Kuja from Final Fantasy IX.
I was going to say Yu Yevon from Final Fantasy X. Just about every zombified boss, I wanted to throw my controller at the TV.
Yep.
I'm going to say recently the one that stands out for me is Metroid Dread, the final boss of that game. That was hours, it felt like, of trying to get it right. And when it's finally done, it felt pretty rewarding. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my same answer because of I thought I was not going to be able to. Metroid, as everybody knows, is one of my favorite series to play. And I really thought I was not going to beat that game. So it's very emotional because it was like I was really angry about it. Like, because I had to go to sleep. I had to put it down and be like, I've got to come back and try it again. Because otherwise it's like, and I really felt like I don't think I could beat this guy. But after going to sleep and resting and then coming back to it with a fresh set of hands and eyes and stuff, and not so angry, I was able to beat it. So it was like so rewarding because of that. So definitely, especially Metroid being one of my favorite series. So I was kind of on the verge of like being disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to beat a great game.
Yeah, all those games you mentioned are games I never finished.
All right.
Never finished 7, 9, 10, or Dread.
Mecha asks, what are your forever games you come back to every day? And maybe not just every day. I'll throw this in there. Maybe you come back to it, just period. Mega Man 2 for Marty.
Mega Man 2. I'm not even going to say it. Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2, Super Mario 3.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, mine's probably pretty obvious too. Is pretty much any Picross game.
Picross for you.
Yeah, I don't probably come back to any like on a regularly daily, right? Sometimes when I do have like doses of nostalgia, I'll play something like a little bit of Donkey Kong Country or Super Mario 2, right? That'd probably be it. But kind of like once I'm done with a game, I kind of like put it away and move on to the next journey or whatever it is. So I very rarely go back for kind of that seconds.
Yeah, I'm about in the same boat, Justin, where I don't go back to complete the game, but I will go back to get, that itch scratched, if you will, and then go on to the new thing. So,
Jacqueline, what about yourself?
Luigi's Mansion 3, Super Mario 3, Yoshi's Island, Mario Party 2.
Classic.
Those are good.
Yeah.
So that goes back to that question that was asked, whether you would do, whether you want single games or group games. Sounds like Mario Party 2 would be fun in a group setting, right? Local play.
Unless someone yells at the TV again.
Nice.
Right. All right.
You guys all right? Are you guys okay?
Right. Darth Platypus asks, what celebrity would you want to have on your 2-person team for a Super Smash Bros. Tournament?
Oh.
What celebrity would you want to have on your 2-person team?
Right. Well, since I don't play Smash, I posed this question to my son, and he has an answer.
All right.
He would play Falco and would want Chris Pratt as Mario.
All right. That's funny.
I am going to go with the host of Up, Up, Down, Down, Xavier Woods, WWE.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be my partner. We're going to tear it up.
Nice. Jackie, you got one?
Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Having him there with me, I think he would just like terrify all of the competition.
Deadpool playing Smash. I love it.
No one
The
would
self-commentary
wanna
is just would be amazing.
beat him. Breaking the fourth wall all day.
Right.
Okay.
Justin, you got one? You're stewing over there.
I don't know why the name that just came to my mind was Owen Wilson, because all I would hear would be like, wow.
Wow. Wow.
Nice. I would want Brie Larson as my celebrity.
As Metroid?
As Metroid.
As
Samus.
Yes, as Metroid.
As Samus.
Yeah.
As just the game.
I knew what you meant.
She shows up
She
dressed as
She would
the
play
game.
as Samus, and I would probably play as.
You would just watch.
I would just have fun.
Oh, your wife doesn't listen to the show, does she?
I wasn't picking Brie Larson because of that, because I want to see her play. I want to see her play as Samus.
You sure about that?
Uh-huh.
You guys
Trying to
gonna
get me in trouble here? Trying to get me in trouble
no.
here?
You're doing
No, you're doing a good job of that on your own.
Yeah.
All right, next question is Koopa Kid 80. Why do school buses run so late the first week of school? And do you think it would make a good Switch game, a la Overcooked Tools Up, of having to pick up all the school kids, fit them on the bus, and get them to school by 8 a.m.? I hope all the dads
Great.
out there are doing well, doing the craziness of the first week back to school for kids.
So here we go.
Are we going
I've got,
Twisted Metal with this?
well, I was
Nice.
thinking Crazy Taxi. Like you got to
Vigilante.
pull up, skid up, get the kid on the bus, boost over the hamburger joint, drop down
There
in
you
front
go.
of the school.
Nice.
I love it. I would play that. All right.
There we go. Let's work on that. That'll be the first Nintendo Dads indie game.
Crazy bus.
We'll call it Crazy Bus. Thanks, Koopa Kid, for the idea.
Yeah, we'll throw in some royalties for him. How
Yes.
about that?
Sounds good. All right. Mo Spankins. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have to do this. Hold on. Mo Woo Spankins. How's that?
I like it. I like
That's
it.
I
fantastic.
like it.
I think this might have been asked before, but I'll ask anyway. Tension, please read the following doing your best Hulk Hogan impression. So, would you like me to do that, or Marty, would you like to do that?
Go on, Marty. Go on with you.
I've got to read what it says. Okay. Well, you know something, brother? With Marty's love for AEW at an all-time high, if the dads wrestled, what ring names would they use, and what would be the entrance music they would pick, brother? And what you gonna do when Nintendo Dads, with the greatest community on the internet, runs wild on you?
Could somebody please clip that out and make sure that is on all of our social media feeds? Where is yeah, let's get Instagram stories, shorts, everything. I want that going.
There you go.
Please.
That was so good.
I
May or may not have had some practice. I don't know.
I think we've done this one before. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna use the ring moniker of business, Justin, and my entrance music is "Here Comes the Money."
Mom.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Oh gosh.
I think we would just call you Barbecue Pit. And your entrance music is some twang.
No, his entrance music is "I want my baby back, baby back, baby
Yes.
back.
Yep.
I want my baby back, baby back.
Yep.
Ribs."
Boom.
Yep. I like
Wow.
it. I like
Okay.
it.
I think
It's gotta be the one
Tim's
from Austin Powers, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think Tim's, I don't know what Tim. I definitely think Tim's entrance music has to be something from Eminem. Kind of like,
we've talked about something similar before, and I said I used to play an online version of wrestling, and my character's entrance music was Motor City Madhouse.
That's
by
right.
Ted Nugent.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay. I like it. See, what I was going to suggest for him was that whatever he would be, it would come out to Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top.
Nice. I like that. Jacqueline, what about yourself? What's your wrestling name, and what's the music that we're kicking off?
So you guys are gonna laugh. I've actually been pitched to wrestling companies this year, and the nickname that I was given was the Keeper of the Jewels.
Okay, the Keeper of the Jewels. Okay,
I would need Charlotte Flair's entrance, bow down to the Queen as I walk in there.
I like it. Well,
nice. I actually was thinking, Jacqueline, that I could see you as a manager too.
Yeah, I was pitched for manager, valet. Okay. Nothing ever came out of it, but you never know what could happen in the future. But yeah, we were going through nicknames at the time, and the Keeper of the Jewels just like popped up, and I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Nacho Man. Not the Macho Man, the Nacho Man. I don't know, maybe it would be like some mariachi music or something like that.
I remember an old commercial set to the tune of Food, Glorious Food from Oliver, but Cheese, Glorious Cheese.
Oh, yes, I'm all about that. When
like,
a few years ago,
that was a commercial back in the 80s.
A few years ago in WWE, the New Day would come out again. Xavier Woods popping up here. They would come out and they would throw pancakes into the crowd. I don't know why they did this, but it was just every time they come up. So that would be my thing. I would throw nachos into the crowd.
Waste of breakfast food.
Everybody loves nachos, so
Well, yeah.
So I don't know. That's a hard question because, like, I've thought about, like, I was telling some people last night. I think part of the thing is that, like, I think I might have missed my calling, and I think I could have done some manager work or whatever for wrestlers. I don't want to get hit or anything. I don't like pain. I don't like falling down or anything like that. But like,
just want to mess
with them. Managers get hit.
Listen, if you give me a dark pair of sunglasses, right? And you put me in some town in Mississippi where a bunch of rednecks live. Let me tell you something. I can't believe that I've had to come down here to Kossuth, Mississippi, around here with all you stinking, stupid, backwoods rednecks. So people to let so-and-so wrestle, I can't believe. I mean, I could do that. I would be all about, like, I could get a crowd riled up. I would. And then if they wanted to do, like, if they wanted me to take a chair shot or something, or get put through a table, I could do that. But I got to say my piece first, right? I could do that. So on this, full disclosure, that, like, when we were in college, me and my buddies used to do something called the Union Wrestling Federation, which was the name of our school, and we would basically do, like, backyard wrestling matches in our dorm room. And it's a wonder we didn't kill each other. I mean, like, we did some really stupid stuff,
right?
And we got really hurt. There were, like, I think all of us left those 4 years of college with a scar somewhere. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Dumb. Don't do it.
All right. So Beer Cerveza has a question. Cerveza, do you have time during the week specifically dedicated to gaming, or is it just when you find free time?
Whenever I get time.
Free time.
What's that?
Most of mine is whenever if I have free time. But what I have been doing after work is sort of as part of my as a work from home employee, my decompression before kind of putting my dad hat on. Is I will play a game for like 30 minutes after having worked, and it's just sort of a bit of my escapism, decompression, start getting myself kind of in the mood to shift into kind of being dad mode. So
it's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, I kind of do something similar, but instead of playing a game, I go out and I've mentioned drive a certain route with Pokemon Go to get a bunch of spins and catches and whatnot before I come home, and then if there's a honeydew list, I do that. If I have time to play games, I'll do that. But yeah, mainly it's just whenever I have time. Like on weekends, if my wife is home, I probably don't have a lot of time because she's got something planned. But if she's on an event that I'm not going on, then I can play games for 15 hours and no one cares.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, mine's about free time available between trying to be a chauffeur. Justin, you know about that too. Being the Uber dad and driving people around or helping to pick up things for my mom. So yeah, that's why I appreciate the Switch, being able to play that on the go, but I haven't been taking that on the go as much as I used to either. So
yeah. Even when I went camping a few weekends ago, I brought my Switch with, never had a chance to touch it. I was either in the middle of eventing, in the group circle talking or listening, or just crashed exhausted.
Right. Yep. All right. Good question, Beer. And Ebicel asks, since the Luna controller is on sale, would you buy one? I was going to answer there, but I figured that we could answer here, but I think most of us already have one. And if we don't have one, there's a reason why we don't have one.
Yeah, apparently I purchased mine in December of 2020. I didn't realize it was that old.
Luna.
But yeah, it's normally list price is $70. It's down to $50.
Jacqueline, do you have a Luna controller, or are you interested in it at all, or no? Not your type of thing.
Not really.
Okay.
So
that's a no from Jacqueline.
yeah, that's a no.
And Marty, you don't have one because of right now your internet situation. So for sure. Wouldn't make sense.
And if that ever changes, nah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the internet change is coming. It's like last week, folks. Last week, those glorious men were at the end of my driveway running fiber down our road. It's happening. They say it's within the next 4 to 5 months.
That's awesome.
I will have internet at my house. Hallelujah.
I'm excited for you.
Yay.
Listen, I really wanted to go down there and be like, all right, guys, so here's the deal. Like, do you want, what do you want? You want steak? You want chicken?
Right.
I can go to the store for drinks. What would you like? Can you just take the wire and just put it directly through my window?
Just
put it in my house. Hook it up to the modem. Go find a modem, hook it up, and just let me have it. We won't tell anybody. I'll just keep, I'll feed you dinner. Seriously.
Yep.
Didn't work.
Just run the wire to your house. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out the rest. So
yeah, or just blow the whole system up. It's
right.
Totally. Yeah.
So great question, but hopefully that answered it. And another comment from Beer, and that is he listened to last week's episode and he hopes we get to keep the games we don't recommend. And actually, Marty, you said you didn't have any, but you actually did, because you mentioned at the top of the hour those NSO games, I think, that you were like, no.
Oh yeah.
Kirby Star Stacker,
Kirby Star
Camelot,
Kirby
was
Star
the wish
Shipper,
list,
or whatever it is.
wish list version of the wishes. Version of Link.
If you order Zelda on Wish, then you get Quest for Camelot.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
So there you go. There, I the segment's there. It's just not a called out segment. Marty's always good at calling out things.
I will try to have something to be grumpy about next week. I promise.
I don't think you have to try.
I don't.
There's going to be
That's what-
something that you'll definitely.
Y'all, when my
you don't
son
like.
was in occupational therapy, he had to do this book where he would like identify his feelings, and one of them was this thing called grumpinini, and that's what my family calls me now.
Okay.
They're like, "You're being a grumpinini. You need to go eat. You're hangry." And I'm usually they're right.
You need a
I'll just
Snickers.
I'll go have a snack,
Get a Snickers.
and everything calms down.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No, we need that truth. Sometimes that
Sometimes
truth-
people need to call us out on our crap.
No, I mean, you need you coming out and talking about the truth of being crappy
yeah.
games.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'll tell you everything that
Right,
sucks.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
going to
good at
sugarcoat
that.
it. You're going to be like, it's a
yeah. Excitebike
Dumpster
64
fire.
it sucks.
yep.
Delete it off your Switch.
And then like half of the games I play are games that I end up liking. So it's kind of naturally part of what we've been playing anyway.
Marty and Jesse Old Man Gaming Minute. That's what it's going to be.
That's what the
Arr!
minute one.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
All
All right.
right.
Next up and last of our questions is from our Christian voicemail by Christian.
Hey, Nintendo Dads. It's John from the Dads After Dark show.
Oh crap, that's not the right one. Give me a
But that
minute.
doesn't sound like Christian
That
at
sounds like a
all.
different. That sounds like a
Yeah,
different
that's
person.
the audio quality was better than normal. All right, let's try this one.
Hey guys, it's me Christian again. I am so sorry I left a voicemail that was entirely too long. I'm going to get to the point. My question is, Nintendo patched out glitches from the game Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm left to wonder, is Nintendo wanting to make the games that we play perform better, or are Nintendo people trying to prevent us from playing the games in a way that breaks the game? Because I like doing glitches after beating a game, but they've patched out a lot of stuff, so I'm just like, that's kind of messed up. I kind of want to play the game I want to play. How do you guys feel about it? Do you think Nintendo's actually just trying to help the performance of the game, or are they trying to make us play the game they want us to play in a certain way? All right, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Hopefully my question makes sense. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.
Aw, what a sweetheart.
He's our sponsor of our voicemail because he's the only
He's
one
the
I
only
think
one.
right now.
Yeah.
that's his hotline.
It's totally the latter. Nintendo wants you to play the game a certain way. They do not want you. They do not want you 1 hour into the game to have 99 Master Swords. All right, that's totally not their plan.
Yeah,
and
this
simple.
even goes, and this even goes back to like say Mario 64, where most speedrunners will run the original Japanese release because of the backward, what do they call it, the backward jump thing, where you can practically get infinite speed going backwards to skip, to pass through doors and to go up that infinite staircase early. But when and the version we got in the US was based off of that version, so those same glitches exist. But in Japan, they released a patched version that got rid of that glitch and a few other glitches. And the version that came with the 3D All-Stars was based on that. And so a lot of the people I know who like to speedrun didn't play that version because all the tricks that they like to use aren't there. So yeah, that's not a new thing. They just didn't have a way to, once you own the cartridge, you can't patch a cartridge.
Yeah, there's a story they want to tell with their games, and so they'll fix it for performance, because there's a potential of that glitch breaking the game, and then you don't have a game that works, or you're going to complain about something because you can't save your game or something like that. So there are performance goals for that, but then there's also,
Unless you're Pokemon.
Yes, they don't want a bad game out there. They don't want anything to be perceived to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Though the Pokemon games will try to patch duplication glitches and stuff because, unlike Zelda, Pokemon actually does have a competitive scene where it's having a glitched or a modded Pokemon can get you banned from competition.
Right.
And you don't want that.
Yep. All right. Great question, Christian, as always. And thank you for your voicemails. And that's the end of our community section.
Yep. That's it. And that's really the end of episode 443. Thanks for sticking around for this extra large sized episode of Nintendo Dads. And we want to thank our wonderful, awesome guest, Jacqueline Amira, Patreon producer, for stopping by. We always enjoy hanging out with you. Be sure to go check her out on Instagram at Jacqueline Amira. And anything you want to say before we go?
Nintendo Dads are awesome. Nintendo Dads are the best. If you're not a part of this community, what are you waiting for? Come on in. It's fun. The water's great.
Very kind.
Yes, I love it. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger and Jacqueline Amira, as we close out the show, plus our other 90 plus other patrons who get to be a part of the greatest community in the world over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Be sure to go over there and check it out if you're not already a patron. And we also want to thank our 21 Twitch Prime subscribers and over 1,400 Twitch followers. And we're pulling up, guys, on 7,000 YouTube subscribers. We're just about 70 away. If you're not a subscription or not a subscriber over on YouTube, go right now. Justin will love you forever if you do that. And we just want to say thank you to everybody. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thank you for sending Justin to PAX and Nintendo Live. Thanks for all that you do for us on a weekly basis. Thank you for your comments and questions and voicemails and just your engagement. We love it. Be sure to head over to nintendodads.org to check out all of the good stuff, our Spotify podcast feeds for Game Pass news, Dads After Dark, and the Retro Logic family of podcasts, as well as our newest YouTube videos and tweets, links to all of our social media, and our Nintendo Dads merch with our new mushroom mascot that you can get on your very own shirt over there at nintendodads.org. Don't forget to check out our sponsor too, manscaped.com. Head over there and get 20% off your Manscaped order with free shipping with the code NINDADS. That even works on the peak performance package that you could set up to get all of that good stuff. You can get 20% off of that as well. Contact us in most places by typing in NINDADS or go in and email us at nintendodads@gmail.com, or be like Christian and call and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you catch our podcast, whatever your podcast app of choice is, if they have a review system, go and leave us a 5-star review. Please, please, please. It pushes us up the charts, helps more people find the show. And it generally, what I've heard is if you leave a good review, it just makes you a better person. Like you just get some points and you start to sparkle and you smell better, and people like you if you do that. So if you just want to do that,
I want to hear some good dad jokes in those comments too. So leave some good dad jokes in there.
Don't just go type a comment or some words, although that's funny too. But anyway,
we've used that one enough. I want to hear some dad jokes. Dad
jokes in the comments, and that 5-star written review. Thanks for listening to the show. For me, for Jesse, for Tim, for Justin, and our lovely guest, Jacqueline. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
What's wrong with you?
Soundwave Superior Construction.